Russ Clark with you on a Wednesday morning, Mortgage One Studios. Dean's here.
Glad to be here too.
Man, let me check and make sure I'm broadcasting. My computer, as you know, I dropped it and broke screen, and
Hey, just a little crack.
but it makes it not work right.
Yeah,
Chris told me I'm gonna have to get a new one. Chris Moorhead, my boy, got a new one.
Yeah.
I asked if we could just JB weld it or something.
Yeah. That's my sort of solution.
I don't want to do a new computer.
I mean, it's hard to believe it's got serious problems. You're getting a good picture on it,
It is, but at times, because the glass is broken and it's pulled away, it sometimes loses the mouse because it's a touch screen.
Oh.
And a touch screen, it messes it up. I think if I could put some adhesion back into that. We'll see.
Touch screens have come a long way.
I like them.
I had a really early version of HP touchscreens, Hewlett Packard, for those who don't know the acronym, that were, we installed them as part of our package of upgrading our systems down in Panama about 1986 or so. And they were the latest, greatest touchscreens.
Yeah.
And they worked horribly.
Oh, they did?
They had, instead of the capacitive type of system we have now, I think, they had sensors along the top, bottom, and sides that shot little beams across the screen. So when you touched it, the intersection of those two intercepted beams, and that's how it knew where you were.
Right.
It worked really badly. We got rid of it.
The stuff now is just amazing. In fact,
it's great.
I find myself going into other places and I'll see something on screen. And I reach and touch the screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
Oh, well, a lot of places it does.
Well,
I mean, I think in a lot of these kiosks.
Not everybody has touch. Oh, they all do, yeah.
They have. And they're huge touch
going
screens.
Going to McDonald's.
Yeah. Or some others, I'm sure.
Well, I go to McDonald's because that's where Grayskull likes to go. The 4-year-old.
Well, you go. I
was in there yesterday.
McDonald's is an extremely successful business, and they're heavy into the automation, and it looks like they're going to get even more so. It's because you got things like Governor Newsom of California saying we have to raise the minimum wage to, I don't know, what was it, $23, $26 an hour or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And
I'm saying, why not 100? Go for it.
I'm with you. I say, why are you stopping so light? Why 30? Why not 80, 90?
Why not 100?
Go.
If it makes people wealthier.
But it's so ridiculous.
It is.
It's so ridiculous. The marketplace takes care of itself. It'll balance it out. You start doing these things and you create inflation.
You do.
It's nuts.
Because the people who pay those wage earners have to recoup the money somehow.
Yeah, they look at
or they go out of business.
They look at their P&Ls and they say, "Where's all the expenses? What do I need to make? What?"
Right. And then they look. Well, we can get a robot who can do the same thing.
That's exactly what's going on.
We'll get some kind of machine. If it cuts back on labor, it pays for itself a lot quicker, and it doesn't complain.
No, every once in a while it leaks a little oil.
Maybe. You got to make sure the electrical connection is good.
Every once in a while. Yeah, let me get this announcement. All content presented on the Russ Clark Show, including statements made by guests, commentators, and callers, reflect the personal opinions of those individuals and is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. These views do not represent the official position of Mortgage One Studios, its owners, employees, affiliates, or partners. Mortgage One Studios does not endorse, verify, or guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements made by third parties during programming. We talked to Derek yesterday. Quick, he came.
Fascinating.
It looks like the FCC has given approval for licensing.
That's what I got.
To let the sale go forward. So the sale doesn't go forward or doesn't consummate until FCC says he can
do it.
He can have it. And I guess
that's a big step.
Yeah, and that happened yesterday. So the big steps there. And now he says, we got to get people in here, start putting equipment in.
Well, there's quite a bit of stuff left to do.
Well, the equipment's here. How to put it together is beyond me.
Well,
Yeah. I have trouble running my own little computer here.
you're fairly technologically adept,
Yeah.
I think.
I could figure it out if given enough time, probably.
Well, yeah,
but we don't have time for that on this. And
that makes perfect sense. And you have people who are more technologically adept who are kind of like hanging out there because the station went away.
oh, correct. The same maintenance guy.
That's wonderful.
It will be coming in here and getting that thing set up. But we could be on air this month, possibly.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. Am I free to say this now?
No, what's that?
If I talk to people,
Sure,
say,
sure.
okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know,
Because it hits publications and everything anyway.
well, sure, but
It's
I
already-
mean,
it becomes public information.
how to put this?
I appreciate you.
I try to guard confidentiality.
Yes, you do.
If,
And
if you gain a reputation for being able to be trusted, it gains access to a lot of stuff.
it does. I didn't go to the gym yesterday,
Well, I did my push-ups.
which I hate it. As I
Well,
I like my 4
but you
o'clock.
go anyway.
Huh?
Oh, I'm making a joke because I
Oh.
know the inside. You said I hate it, and I was trying to
it. I love
transfer
the gym.
that you hate going to the
No,
gym.
no, no,
and you
no,
really meant
no,
you
no,
hate
no.
not going. To
I
the
hate
gym.
not going to gyms,
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
off schedule.
I understand, but
But-
me, I don't like exercise, but I do it anyway because I like the effects,
Correct. That's most everybody. I'm an oddball,
which is wonderful.
but it only happened to me late in life. I mean, it happened. I
Well,
think
you used to be
6 months or so with John, and it finally got to where I could.
Well, you used to be an avid runner,
Yeah, I used to.
and
In San Diego, particularly, I was in the Marathon Association.
and so was that where you just had to do it, or
I did then. I was kind of doing it that way. It wasn't weightlifting; it was just running. And that runner high is real. I told you the other day. It was
yeah, I
real.
know, and I've
but-
talked to several people who have
Yeah.
experienced it, and I have done a significant amount of running over my
Yeah.
life, but I don't recall ever experiencing it.
Yeah,
That's just me.
And the reason and my wife insisted I quit. It's taking too much time away from the house. Particularly, I think Saturdays, we'd all get together as a group and out near SeaWorld in a park.
Okay.
And we'd split up into those going 15 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles, and we'd do some calisthenics, and it was a good group.
Yeah.
And they laid out the runs where there was public water available.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of these places had fountains and
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
So we laid out the runs, and some days I do a 10, some days a 15 or something.
That's a
And-
lot. That's a lot of running.
yeah. But I weighed quite a bit less then. And then
Well, you
wife
could-
said I'd rather have you fat and home, so I got fat.
Well,
Wasn't that simple?
no, I'm sure it wasn't, and
But, yeah.
but I mean, if that's a lot of running, I did. I always looked at the experts, which I considered Dr. Cooper, who invented aerobics,
Yeah.
to be one of the foremost authorities, and he and some others came up with about somewhere around 10 to 15 miles a week as optimum
For the whole week.
for the whole week.
Yeah.
And he particularly said 30 minutes 3 times a week or 20 minutes 4 times a week.
I was looking to run the half marathons, which I did.
Yeah.
So I'd run a schedule during the week of 3 miles, 6 miles, so on.
Sure.
And then on Saturday it'd be the 10 or 15.
Right.
And
No, a lot of people do that.
getting ready. I don't know,
But-
I had that whole schedule from the pros that know
yeah,
what they're
yeah,
doing on
yeah.
how to build up, and that's what.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure that you were a very competent runner and did really well.
I wasn't fast or anything. I just was out there.
But the things I was looking at the time, and there's so much out there now that's somewhat different. But was that the more you run beyond a certain point, you risk injury.
I never
risk
did,
to
but you're right.
injury goes up,
I've known a lot of people that have,
and injury it's bad.
and then you get sidelined for who knows how long, months.
Yeah, months,
depending on
or
what it is.
sometimes it's very long.
And I didn't push myself that hard. I push myself harder in the gym now. I think, and that. And I missed it yesterday because my daughter bought a car. Now my daughter buying a car shouldn't get me out of the gym, should it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got to have your priorities. You're going,
I know I've done that to
well.
you, I think. Yeah, what's your priority there, Steve? But she buying the car, and it was a Hyundai, which
Yeah,
I
I
like.
was fascinated.
I like Hyundai. And, I've had a relationship with that Hyundai shop for
Right.
many, many years. And she was going to buy another car, and which would have been a lot more money and a nice car. But I said, let's go look at the Hyundai first, and we did. And she was shocked. I mean, she was totally like, Dad, I did it for you. I didn't think I'd even like it. I just did it because you said I should.
When you say did it, go
Went
to look at the shop.
go look
Yeah.
at it, just to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, she test drove the Palisade, which is the
Yeah.
largest one.
Yeah, it
'Cause she
is.
has 6 kids.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, she has 6 kids. So she test drove the Palisade, and I mean a mile or so, and she says, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
You know,
I have a Tucson that's about a year old now.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah, a
just
little
a
more than
little
a year.
smaller version of this.
It's slightly smaller than, I mean, it's noticeably smaller, but to me, it's a pretty good sized car. It's big enough that you can fold down the rear seats and sleep in it comfortably.
yeah.
And to me, it's perfect. And I bought it new. I've purchased very few new cars. I think this is the third, maybe, in my whole life.
Second for my daughter.
And I am kind of like your daughter. It's great. It's the best car I've ever had.
And you haven't changed your opinion in a year.
No,
In fact,
no,
it's
it's
reinforced
just
it.
this fantastic car. Now, what I really want is an autonomous vehicle,
Right.
and this has a lot of helpful features. Like it holds the
But
lane.
you
and
can't
it-
get in the back seat and say, "Go take me home."
No, that's what I want. I mean, I think there'll be a tremendous decrease in highway fatalities once that becomes more common.
Of course. And there's people that will differ.
Of course, there are a lot of people
I
with different
talked to
opinions.
Chris Moorhead at the shop. He was, I'll never get in one of those, and all that stuff.
Okay, wait till you're
because
75.
He's older than both of us, and he's not by age,
Oh,
but in attitude. He's a grumpy old man.
well, I
in
can
his
fit that
40s.
sometimes.
He's like that. I'll never do that.
Never say
which,
never,
which
buddy.
means, I want a picture of it. He's going to be in that car.
I mean, because
Yeah.
I personally know for certain that my capabilities are somewhat degraded over what they were 20 years ago.
Okay.
I don't have quite
That's
the reflexes.
that's more reality than I'm willing to face.
Yeah.
but okay.
Well, you're younger than me. You're just a
By
young
a couple
sprout.
of years.
Yeah,
No big
well.
deal.
Anyway, but so I've followed the tech on these cars for over 20 years
me
from the first challenge that was put out by DARPA to develop an
That was here in
autonomous-
Yuma. We had a thing out at YPG one
We
time.
did, but there was a route that went through some like trails.
I
and
followed
stuff.
that one close, and I think only a couple cars even made it, or one
Right, the
finished
very
or
first one,
something.
one or two made it. But I mean, I looked at that and I thought, wow, that's just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, because it showed the potential was there.
And now
And
they
we
all
were
make
close.
it. It's just a matter of how fast, how accurate. now.
it's we're at the long end of the tail, as they said. It's hard to describe distribution curves and statistics over the radio or over a podcast without images, but basically you can solve like 98% of the problems of an autonomous car pretty quickly.
Right.
And which is what they did in the early trials. It was amazing stuff.
All that has turned into now autonomous robots in Ukraine that are doing battle.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's
and,
that.
and you know some of that technology had to leak over there.
But we have these. We now have a seriously autonomous, no driver in them vehicles in about a dozen cities around the U.S. Three or four different
They've been out
companies,
for a few years testing.
and they have a good track record.
Yeah.
They're safer than people generally. Where they have a little bit of a problem is occasionally fender benders, but usually somebody else causes them.
Yeah.
And what we see is that it's the very rare instances, the things that happen only once in a million times.
And
or
they
something.
learn from it.
Right. And
but-
so that's the things they're working on now.
But the amount of people that die on the roads every year is what, 30, 40,000, used to be 50,000. I mean, we've gotten
It's gone
better.
down because we have safer roads, safer vehicles.
And stricter drunk driving
Yeah,
enforcement. They take credit for it, the Mothers Against Drunk
it's
Driving.
hard to separate those out. I mean, I had a really close friend of mine. He died about 5 years ago, and he's just a brilliant thinker. That's what I'd say. And he was very skeptical about how much drunk driving laws have made a difference. He said there's so many other things that account for so much of it that we really can't separate it out. And he says he was very skeptical. And then my brother, who retired out of the state patrol in Wisconsin, told me about how much they were pushed to include things as alcohol related, even if they clearly alcohol had not caused the problem. But there was an empty beer can in the car or something. So, oh yeah, check that off, alcohol related. And so the statistics are questionable in my mind. I wouldn't, obviously, if you got people driving in less than optimal mental states,
I think
you're going to have more
there's
accidents.
got to be some stats out there we can pull on how many DUI arrests there are and all stuff like
Well,
that.
all of that, but
I'm
I
sure,
guess,
I'm sure it's gone way down. I mean, people talk about it like there's no way I'm going to drink and drive, you know. And a lot of that has to do with it changes your life if you get arrested.
Oh, it has become draconian in my opinion.
It's harsh.
I mean, it's very harsh.
I'm not saying I'm against it.
I'm against the super harsh penalties. I think they become counter useful.
Not the people I talk. I mean, there's people I know, me included. I won't drink at all if I'm going to drive. I don't want to have any question about it.
Yeah, but you hardly ever drink at all. Period.
Now I didn't. I mean, I used to have more cocktails occasionally, but
I mean, I've never been much of a drinker. Tiny. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a teetotaler. If it's really hot out and somebody offers me a beer, I might.
it was the longevity doctors that talked me into not drinking at all.
There you
Seriously.
go.
David Sinclair for one of them.
And you know, that was a controversial thing. There were a lot of people claimed, red wine would be healthy for you.
There's elements of it that are, but you have to drink so much of it, you're going to die of liver problems.
Well, I don't know. As we saw that in places like France and around the Mediterranean.
And you can.
I'm not trying to advocate. I'm just being my skeptical self.
Oh, sure, be there. But there, the elements that are helpful in the red wine, you can buy in a supplementation without the alcohol.
I should do that. I really should do that. Because I'm convinced that there is a good case that is actually helpful.
I think it's made me younger. I've been doing that stuff for years now. And
well, you look younger.
I feel better now.
I mean, I can see that
5 years ago.
That old wisdom you used to have is kind of like degraded.
It's gone. The wisdom's gone. It might be. Hey, I need to tell you about my Hyundai experience.
Yeah, do that.
The daughter fell in love with the car, so she had to go home and talk to her husband. Now, her husband has ALS. He's in bed. He can't. He's not going out to the car dealership. It's terrible. It's terrible, but it's their life, and that's what they embrace. And
right.
They accept it.
Yeah. Okay.
So go home and talk to him, and she looked at the one that was at the top end loaded. It was what had all-wheel drive on top of top end, all-wheel drive, and all that stuff on it. And not that she was looking for that, but that's what was on the showroom floor that she saw. And she drove a lesser one. And then she saw the one on the showroom floor. Well, I like this feature on it. I like that feature on it that the other one didn't even have. And it's fully loaded. So she went and talked. The husband says, you get what you want. Which, what a nice husband.
Well, I would,
what a nice husband.
he's got a very serious illness.
Yeah,
we don't know how long.
Life expectancy is not good.
It's not high.
No.
I
no
thought
cure.
that was a purely rational move on his part.
So she went in to get that, and they fumbled around a little bit. Well, they had this new kid just out of high school that's a salesman, nice guy named Lopez, good guy. I like him. Okay, he's pretty aggressive.
Was he having a hard time saying yes?
Wait, no. He said he was looking at the sticker price and what they could do, and he says you can get it for this out the door. Well, out the door to everybody that's in the system means tax, title.
Yeah, right.
He meant out the door
from the dealership.
So that was a disappointment, but those things happen. And it's Lopez. He was new and a good kid, no big deal.
Everybody's
and when I heard about it, I was like, I don't know. And so anyway, they had to try that. So I had to get involved just to look. To try to talk her into one of the ones that was maybe a few $1,000s cheaper to get the Palisade, to get this.
You're a seasoned pro at this.
She wouldn't hear of it.
It's like involving a world champion.
So I haven't educated myself on the price of things and on how it goes
Right.
specifically. So I talk to dealers in Imperial Valley and Phoenix and stuff all over,
Sure.
checking things, checking discounts,
Absolutely.
checking opportunities and everything. And so I could bring it back to my friends over at Hyundai, see if you missed something.
Sure.
Which, they're not going to lose the business to Phoenix or anything like that. And I recommend that to most people if that's, I know.
I bought
I know.
my Hyundai.
I hear stories all the time where I had to go to Phoenix because the dealer here says that go to Phoenix. 'Cause
Well,
I don't-
I didn't go to Phoenix. I
Yeah.
bought mine out of a dealership in Texas,
But
right,
that
right
was-
next to my daughter.
that was local for you.
Yeah.
It was local. And the thing just took a while to get through all that. My daughter getting emotional,
Oh,
which
that's
I
not-
never do.
I mean,
To
me
me, it's
either.
just a,
I mean,
it's just a challenge. Like, whatever. But
I try to keep emotion out of business deals.
yeah.
Or most of my life. I mean, well, let's say anything consequential because I try to be very rational, and
Yeah.
emotion makes that hard.
Sometimes I'm rational to the point where people think, "Do you have any feelings at all?"
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, but that was I've
just-
trained myself to be that way.
Actually, it's a fun deal for me. I kind of like enjoy
Yeah, I can believe that.
that kind of
because
stuff and looking
you're,
at it.
you're just good at that.
But she got upset because, she was told it was out the door, and she took it for what
Literally.
she should have.
Yeah, right.
Because Lopez made a mistake.
These things happen.
It's not a big deal, but to her it was.
Mm.
So I searched around and I found really good deals at other Hyundais that I know these guys will do that or better. And but she was so upset about some of it. She was like, well, I'll just go to Phoenix and get that one. I said, well, that's your choice. And look, here's your choice. You got three. You can buy that top end car for the price that it is. You can get it $3,000 cheaper in Phoenix, but then you won't get the front wheel drive in the other. Or you get it right here in Yuma, $3,000 cheaper if you can sidestep, if you're just talking logic.
Yeah.
For logic. But if you'd rather drive to Phoenix and spend that time and money and get that done and know that if there's an immediate problem, you got to take it back to Phoenix, that's your call. And I will support you no matter what you do. She bought it from Hyundai in Yuma,
Well,
of course.
if I have a choice, I prefer working with local people because
Well,
there's you build a certain level of trust that way.
but you also want to know that they earned it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look, and Hyundai of Yuma did. They earned it. That was not a problem. In my eyes, now, because there was a misquote at one point, which to me is like just a kid that just misunderstood. And I would have asked a question right there, but she didn't know enough to ask that.
Sure.
Because out the door means out the door.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the way I would have taken it, and I would have probably had her attitude.
And Lopez learned a lesson.
Yeah, right.
And he's just, literally a teenager, I think. Good guy, though.
Well,
I would
everybody
hire him.
has to learn their craft,
I grilled him in the car.
and you almost always make a mistake or two when you're starting out.
Possibly. And sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it's not. It depends on the customer.
Well, it depends on a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And if you're going to survive in your craft, you have to survive that first mistake.
He does.
And
Yeah.
it teaches you usually a whole lot of caution.
I think he's going to be fine. But I grilled him in the car when we were driving. Horsepower,
Yeah. Okay.
different features and everything. He knew everything.
Wow.
He read the books.
Wow.
Now, that's impressive from a teenager.
That is. That's impressive.
Yeah. I'd
Because
say
there's a
teenager.
lot to know.
Oh yeah. And he was up to speed. And when I did catch him on something he didn't know,
Yeah.
he said, I'll have to find out.
Oh, that's good. Good answer.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. I gave him high marks
Good.
for a brand new salesman,
Well,
handles
it's
that stuff.
selling cars is a tough business. It's gotten
com-
a lot
it's-
tougher.
It's competitive. It's tough.
Very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can go on the internet and you can see prices for cars all over the country.
Yeah.
and then you look at it and say, well, what's it cost to have it delivered here?
Yep.
Or
Well, there's companies that make a living on delivery.
Yes,
It's a
absolutely.
Caravan, I think is the name of it, where you
well,
can.
it's a little. They sell you the car and deliver it.
Right.
I bought a car from them 2 cars ago.
But they don't have any dealership or anything to do
No,
it.
so they have
it's used cars,
it's a
isn't it?
business model. I was happy with the car I got from them,
Well,
but
they give a 30-day guarantee.
yeah, it's not like not like you're going to get a lot of local support from Caravan. No.
No, you're not.
Right.
And that's where the dealer has a big advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're buying a used car, yeah, I don't know. You know, are not looking for dealership support. Maybe I don't know.
One of the things that I did when I was buying used cars, and I think I'll be buying new because I'm old and I can afford it now. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could afford it before, but I kind of liked the hunt aspect.
I don't normally buy new cars. I don't.
Yeah, this was. Go ahead.
But I kind
Good
of
morning,
like
Mad Mike.
I do. Morning.
How are you,
So,
sir?
Good. You're talking my subject here.
Oh,
And
cars. Yeah.
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 You are a subject matter expert on this, right?
He was until last
First
week.
of all, I still am.
Oh.
I just don't. I don't sling them for the damn Iranian. No, Pakistani. No,
Okay.
Afghanistan.
Well,
Carvana, like Nirvana.
Carvana.
Caravan.
Yeah,
Oh, is
you're
it
right.
Carvana? Okay, I didn't know.
Carvana. Yeah, that's correct.
Carvana. Thanks for the correction, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. And I missed there was 3 options she had. Get it as is, get it in Phoenix. What was the third option?
Well, there was two different models. The high end, the high end
Right.
model with the add-ons, or she could go with the less, and save about 3,000. But she could have done it in Phoenix or here, and that's why I told her, well, you can go to Phoenix and get it for this price. Of course, it won't have
Right.
the front wheel drive. I mean, it'll only have 2-wheel drive, and it won't have that color. Or you can get it here for that exact same price or cheaper than Phoenix, if you can get over your disconnect. Whatever. If it's strictly a logical move.
But I don't understand. How could she get over it?
Well,
Did Hyundai
she was-
Yuma lower their price?
Oh, of course, they had the same deal in Hyundai of Yuma, but when one of the kids misspoke, the sales guy said you can get it for this out the door. He's brand new, and he
Yeah.
meant that's the price you get. Then
Right,
you have to add
at the
everything to it.
Showroom doors.
Yeah.
Without tax, title, that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
but he
I
didn't say
gotcha.
that. So she assumed it was everything, and then she thought like, "Well, I can't trust him, Dad, because they told me it was out the door, and they didn't, and then they jacked the price up when I went to say okay."
I can understand that.
I said, "Well, baby, that was just a mistake, on that, no big deal.
Yeah.
Just
And we all
le-
make mistakes.
it was no big deal. I would have caught it right away and questioned it, but no big deal.
So
But
bottom line is, dude made a mistake. She benefited
Yeah.
because Hyundai of Yuma matched the Phoenix price, basically.
oh, easily. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and of course the one I shopped in Phoenix was
a little different.
a little different because it had 2,500 less than options. 2,500. I said, well, you get that same one here, baby. Get the same one, same
Right.
price. And Hyundai of Yuma took good care of her, but it's emotional to buy a car, for her particularly. She's running back and forth with her husband's in bid to get his approval, and
Right.
and that just makes it more complex because it's already complex going back and forth. We'll have
Yeah.
to check with the manager on that and all that kind of stuff. So
Unfortunately, a lot of things in the car business, they see a woman and they tell her, "Oh yeah, you need your headlight."
they
fluid
knew
changed."
they
And
knew I was the dad. They weren't going to do any of that, and they didn't.
I know. I'm just saying, as a not exactly single, but as a on her own
Yeah.
with husband in bed, it would be easy for some people to take advantage of her, and that's where used car salesmen get such a bad reputation. New car sales is a different gig. It's a different market. It's
In other
different
words,
rules.
the used car salesmen have earned the reputation.
Well, some of them haven't. It
In-
doesn't
in
take
many
very
ca-
many.
And yeah, in many cases,
Yeah.
and as well as mechanics.
Yeah.
Getting back to you need this service, you need that service, and don't forget the headlight fluid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Hey.
It all drained out.
We see it at the shop. I mean, we see people come in with a new car they just bought, and it's, oh my God, it's got problems. And we go back to where'd you get it? And go talk to them, because they got to fix this. And quite often they don't. You bought the car, it's
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah,
It's
you're talking
easier.
new car to them, not a new off
These
the
are
showroom
used.
floor.
Yeah, this is used car.
Used but new
cars.
to
Right.
them. Yeah.
And it's tough.
There are.
We tell everybody, just bring the car to us, let us see it before you sign anything.
It's always good.
And if the dealer doesn't let you do that, then go to another dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. I could tell you stories, buddy.
I know. We've all seen it, and it makes me. It hurts me when I see that happen to these young ladies. That
Oh, yeah.
the look in their face when all of a sudden the repairs are more than what she just paid for the car. It's not good. But there's people who do that for a living every day. They do that.
It's not good.
And it's like any business. You buy something at a certain price, and you want to sell it at a higher price, and your profit, what you live
Sure.
on, what you feed your family with, is what's left over in between the two.
Sure.
But it's one thing I can say good about the Rahimis is, for the most part, and a lot of it is because of Artie. Artie, you met him, the sales manager. Well, he's the general manager. He does sales. He does the sheds. He does the metal buildings. He does the U-Haul, and I helped him with half of that stuff. But he is the ethical person. He's been in the business for 30 plus years. He started off selling cars for his grandpa in LA, I think, or Phoenix, one of the two. And he ran the Yuma Honda store for quite a while.
Oh.
And I mean, like 8 years or whatever. And he's been at Rahimi now 10 years. So but like anyone, okay, that minivan doesn't have the tire below, and the customer doesn't ask, does it have a spare tire?
Yeah.
Well, that might get delivered without a spare tire. But a lot of cars don't have spare tires nowadays.
Now they
You are
don't.
correct.
Yeah.
It shocked me when I found that out.
And the ones that do have spare tires, usually they're flat.
Well,
they never get looked at. Yeah.
and a lot of them are the little donuts like you're talking about. We're only good for like 50 miles or so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even the full tires.
Oh, yeah.
Because no one airs them
Because
or checks them.
you don't
need them.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it
need
happens.
to check those occasionally. All right, buddy. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, I'm going to send you some pictures of a car and ask you if you think it's a muscle car.
All right.
Muscle car, a certain age range of cars, back in the day,
I remember.
or I understand, but this thing is a Super B, and it's supposedly 550 horsepower V6.
A Plymouth?
No, that's
Well, okay, send it to me. Let me take a look at it.
Super Beyond.
All right.
It's a new one. It's a 26 model.
Oh,
Dodge.
a 26 Dodge.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All
Yeah.
right, buddy.
So 550 horsepower sounds like muscle to me, buddy.
I would consider that muscle.
That's a lot of horsepower.
All right.
Of course,
Send it to me, man. I like to see it. Take care.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
don't a lot of Teslas meet that?
Yeah, they rate them differently. I forget how they rate them.
Right,
How many
but they-
watts is that motor?
Well, right, but the fact is that they have incredible acceleration.
Well, it is. They call it the fastest production car. There really is a electric car that's faster. That's a production car, but it really is a one-off car.
Yeah, you get a couple dozen of them produced a year
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
not very many, but they still
Yeah, they call it
qualified.
production. Yeah, but this thing about tires. I mean, gee, one of the reasons that you don't have spare tires as much is because the tires have gotten to be so reliable. I mean, it's not unreasonable for a lot of good quality tires to go 60,000 miles, sometimes more.
Let me see. One of my listeners said he went to Hyundai and got an out the door price. Sales manager, not very professional. He didn't like Hyundai of Yuma. Gave it to him on a torn piece of paper. He went to Phoenix, saved a bit over $6,000. Do the service locally, but would hesitate to buy the article locally. And that's unfortunate. Those things happen. But that's not indicative of the business I know in Yuma, in Hyundai.
As I mentioned before, it's getting harder and harder for local dealerships because they offer services that you don't get online, but you can buy online.
Well,
and the price, there's a differential.
Well,
there often is.
But everybody's aware of it, and no one's going to let the.
I'm saying it just puts a higher competitive burden on the local dealers.
Sure, and they usually handle it well here at Hyundai. And I've had a relationship with them for many years.
Sure, right. Yeah, I'm not making aspersions on a particular dealership. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
Yeah, but I'm looking. They want to get involved in this radio show again to help make it on air.
That's great.
I think it is. But if I'm going to personally promote them, I spend time there. I find out what they're doing, and I want to know about problems or whatever. And because I won't personally endorse a business that I don't agree with.
One of the major reasons I ended up with Hyundai, I'll be frank about it here, was Carl's enthusiasm for his Elantra.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and he just is in love with that car.
And he totaled that car. He ran a red light, totaled it, and bought one the next day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But he didn't get a scratch on him. So he
So the car, even though he ran a red light and he totaled the car, he was not injured at all.
No.
Wow, that says a lot about the car's ability to protect.
But the car was totaled and saved him. And said, "I'm getting another one. The car that just saved my life. I'm getting that one." I think Tiger Woods is the same. I mean, how many times? What did he roll that Hyundai Genesis? And ran it into the woods, and the car looked destroyed.
I hate to say it, but Tiger Woods is a horrible role model for driving.
Yes. He's
a great golfer, but driver, he's horrible.
You mean on the road driver? He can drive.
Of course, that's what I mean. Yes.
But, he's had a lot of problems, but I think it has a lot to do with drinking.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe it's that drunk driver thing.
It's really bad. Yeah, it's sad.
But that Hyundai Genesis saved his life.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I mean, I think looking back at it, I looked at it briefly at the time, and I think,
at the time
that was a horrible crash.
At the time, I know I called Hyundai up over here locally, and I says, you should get a hold of that wrecked car and put it on your lot and show that Tiger walked away from this one.
Yeah,
that's a feature that's pretty cool. If you ever do get in an accident. The thing I like about the Hyundai, though, all the features in it that keep you from having that accident.
Oh, that's what I love about mine. And I put it on all the protective features, like the lane following and the following behind a vehicle and the advanced, what do you call it? When that keeps your speed where you want it to be.
Oh yeah, it's a cruise control. But
it's all advanced. They call it advanced cruise control. All this kind of stuff.
But it'll slow down automatically if you don't.
Absolutely, it does, and it just makes driving a lot easier. And I am convinced that it saved me from several fender benders.
Well, and I know the one that impressed me is when you put your turn signal to change lanes.
Yes.
If there is a car
in your blind spot,
that turn signal doesn't go click, click, click. It gives you a warning
gives you a
signal.
Beep, and there's a little red indicator arrow.
Don't do it.
On the side mirror.
Says don't do it.
And I was driving just the other day, really heavy traffic. Well, it was a week ago in Phoenix. Not Phoenix, in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Traffic was heavy. And I decided I want to make a lane change to the right change. And as soon as I turned that turn signal on, it was a beep. And there was a car right in my blind spot. Hadn't been there 5 seconds before.
Right. Yeah, they can sneak up on you.
I mean, and this heavy
But
traffic,
you know who
so
should-
it's understandable.
But you know who should get those features is the newer guy, the kids. The 16-year-old kids should have that car.
Well, of course.
Yeah, because those are the ones that are more apt to make a mistake. Let's take a phone call
Yes.
from Gilbert. Good morning, Gilbert.
Well, I'm going to tell you why I don't like my Hyundai, Russ.
Well, okay,
and
tell
Dean.
me
Go
why.
ahead.
Well, problem with my Hyundai and me driving it, it drives so damn smooth. If I don't pay attention to that damn speedometer,
Oh, yeah, I could understand that.
So you got a
I'd
speeding
be
ticket.
speeding.
That's good.
no, I didn't get no speeding ticket because I caught it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I
But
have
once-
had that happen to me where I look at the speedometer. Oh, yeah, I better dial it back.
Yeah.
And one thing I do enjoy is playing Parnelli Jones around curves.
Oh, really? You
Oh,
don't
my
like
God.
hitting the brakes, huh? Just
Oh, well.
No,
We all have
the
different
torque of
things,
the
so.
engine. We use the torque, and I love my Hyundai. But what really scares me the most, and she's right next to me right now,
Uh-oh.
and I'm going to say it.
yeah.
My wife, my Carla, is Mrs. Parnelli Jones.
Oh no.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Well, you-
Sometimes we'd be going down the freeway and I'm just kicking back. Then I'll reach over to see how fast she's going. I'll go, do you know how fast you're going? She goes above the speed limit.
At least that.
yeah. I've known that in a couple that's related to me. The wife is the leadfoot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My wife is I mean, I am, but when Carla's out in the freeway and she's cruising, she wants to get somewhere. Yep.
And she bakes.
And she's right next to you. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
right. And you know what? When we first got together, Russ, people do not know how to get on freeways in Yuma, Arizona.
I find that occasionally.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, I
it's
find that
always,
quite I find it quite often,
Yeah.
more often than not. Well, my Carla, she knows how to get on the freeway. Yes, she does.
She outruns everybody.
She's up to speed before we get onto that freeway.
Nothing wrong with that. That's
well,
legal.
I think that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
you
that's how
should be.
you're supposed to-
You should,
you're
when you
supposed
get
to
on,
be
you should
doing
be at
that.
speed.
I've followed
Yeah.
people that go slow down the acceleration lane, then stop and wait for an opening.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
that-
seen that
they're
very
more
often, but it's
dangerous.
really dangerous.
That's a pile up ready to happen.
Yeah, that's more dangerous when a person tries to get on the freeway at 50 miles an hour instead of 60 at
oh,
least.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But I love my Hyundai, but going up the Laguna Mountains, a red car always gets tagged by the highway.
Yeah, you got the wrong color.
Yeah, no, I got the right color.
It is pretty.
Yeah, you know, there's some spray paint out there you get pretty cheap.
What car? You have the Elantra or the Sonata? What do you
We
have?
got the Elantra.
Elantra.
Yeah, we got the-
Nice cars.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. We didn't get all the fancy stuff on it because my Carla didn't want it.
Sure.
I like my electric seat. Carla does not like electric seat. But
Really?
we do got the heater.
Have you
Yeah,
checked,
the adjustment.
have you checked
Yeah.
what kind of mileage do you get with it?
Oh,
With Carla driving?
sometimes I get,
Well, yeah, that's a question. I guess it'd be different for each of you.
we get 38 with her driving.
Yeah, that's I rented one of those Elantras a couple years ago. I was
Yeah.
up in Wisconsin, and their speed limits are kind of slow, like 55 miles an hour on a 2-lane highway. Generally, I mean they just are. But so I just kept it at speed limits. I didn't want to get a ticket. And after
Right.
I think about roughly almost 2 weeks of driving and getting back to the airport, I had kept track of all the fuel I put in and the mileage, and then I looked at their calculator too, and they matched exactly
Yep.
at 44 miles per gallon.
Yeah, you can do it.
Right. And now I get 44 at 75 miles an hour or 75. We get about that much.
Yeah, and
That's-
that's
that's
just a normal
impressive.
engine. That's not
It's
hybrid or
impressive.
anything.
Yeah,
it's
I mean
it's
it's just
normal.
impressive.
Yep. But the cars they make today, there's no more shape shifting mechanics. It ain't happening.
good. No, it's
mean,
you need a computer to plug it into.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
see what it's doing.
There's so much sophisticated equipment you need to diagnose things.
But they last longer. They're tougher.
They do
Last
last
much
longer.
longer. Yeah, and I'm gonna bring up some other stuff that you're cracking me up, Dean.
What's
And
that?
I do like you. I like you pretty good. You were talking about DWIs and how the surveys and blah 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 blah
Right.
blah DWIs. Well, during COVID, there's been motorcycle accidents here in Yuma. People died, and they equated it. Well, he had COVID,
I know.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
so it
All
helped
of,
his survey.
I think all across the U.S., there were all
Mhm.
kinds of deaths that were not, they were something else, and they'd get into the hospitals, and the hospitals got a certain amount of money from the
I
federal
think it was
government
$3,500.
if it was
I believe it
COVID.
was
So they
35
just label everything COVID.
Yeah, it was $3,500. I believe
I
that's
don't
right,
remember.
Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were talking about DWI. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
I haven't drank since 1999.
Good for you.
But I remember getting on my motorcycle and riding the hell out of it. And I thought it was pretty good. But now I could ride that motorcycle easy. Now you get me behind a wheel on a car, I was an absolute cockahead.
Okay.
Well,
It
It happens.
it was
We've all been there.
it was
yeah.
because the wind on the motorcycle, yada yada yada. But you know what? One drink's too much. If you're driving and you have a drink and you get in an accident and you have alcohol on your blood, your sobriety test at the accident, you're guilty.
Yeah.
And one thing I really dislike is when someone gets in an accident because they're drinking, they say, "I didn't mean to do that." Well, yeah, you did, because you consumed the alcohol and you got in the vehicle and you knew better.
Well, that's correct, Gilbert. You're right. You're responsible if you take drugs, whether alcohol or whatever, to alter your mental state. You're responsible for that.
Yep. And there's no I'm sorry's.
No.
There's not. I mean, you can say it, but it's not true. And on some humor stuff now. Are you ready for this guy? Especially you, Russ.
Do it.
You and me. You and me. Did you know that it's $1 million industry for hair transplants and hair growth in America right now? It's over $1 billion industry.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Sure is.
I haven't tapped into that one. I'm not a supporter.
Yeah.
I just, I think I inherited the male baldness gene from my mother.
Yeah.
And so, by the time I was 40, my hairline was receding quite a lot. So I just decided, just shave it all off. That's it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, same with me. I got it from my dad, of course. But yeah, I was watching TV this morning. It's over $1 billion industry,
Wow.
men getting transplants,
Wow.
getting this thing to make your hair grow. I remember, Dean, you're old enough, you might remember this movie. It was a Navy movie, and they were rubbing onion in the bald head to get your hair to grow back. I can't remember the name of the movie,
Nah,
but I remember.
I don't recall it. But
Yeah,
but yeah,
they
it used, when we were growing up, there wasn't any effective cure
Nah.
for baldness, and now there are several things that actually seem to work somewhat.
Yeah, they do. Somewhat.
and
Some people have great results.
And I don't know if it's vain or your ego or low self-esteem
What else could
that
it
you
be?
got to do that. What's that?
What else could it be? I think you just named the only reasons.
Well, how about
Yeah.
you think it's a better professional image for something? I mean, I can understand it. There's a YouTube personality that I think is an absolutely brilliant guy. But his very earliest YouTubes were several years ago, and he had a lot less hair then.
Yep.
But,
Hey, how
but
about
his
who
hair
was
is
the
really
most-
good now. I mean, and so, if you want to spend your money on doing that, I don't have a big problem with it.
It's so. Who's the most famous sportscaster that we knew that hid his baldness?
Howard Cosell? I don't know.
Howard Cosell.
That's the name that popped in my mind, but it wasn't heroic enough to mention it.
He wore a wig, didn't he?
I don't
Yeah, he
recall.
wore a wig.
Yeah, I
It
think
was a
he had
wig.
a.
It was a wig. It was a headpiece. 'cause
Muhammad Ali took it
pulled
off.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
he took it
wonder if anybody's done the statistics to see if the actual cost, constant dollar cost per person in the U.S. for wigs and hair pieces has gone down because people are getting genuine hair.
Yeah. And you got a question, because of course I didn't look at the statistics. What are the side effects of taking those drugs to get your hair to grow?
It's a good question.
That's what I want to know. What
Because
are the side effects?
often there are side effects to
yeah.
drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general, some have more, some have less.
Yeah, well, you look at all the drugs we take, even metformin, all the side effects of metformin, which I take.
So
Not
how's
for
it work?
long.
I'm curious. I've been reading about metformin. How's it working out for you?
Well, if I Russ, I went to Dr. Joe the other day. He's my new doctor.
Okay.
I mean, I've been going to Up to Par out here in the foothills, but I switched to Dr. Joe. And between his diet and my wanting to be better, I think it's going to work out good. But my test yesterday morning, when I woke up, took my test, was 123. And that's fasting, which is not bad, not great at all. Yesterday, after eating lunch with my new diet, after 2 hours, I took my blood test and it was 120.
I'm not sure what the number is. Can you tell us?
Well,
What the
it should be-
units behind the number.
oh, hell, I don't know. All that.
Okay. That's all right. It's not a big deal. I'm
I
taking
do
that
know
120
that
or 123 is good.
It's better than 150, 160, 180.
Okay.
Yeah, 120 for a diabetic is good. And I believe with me taking doing my new diet, which is going to kill me. Yeah, I'll be doing good within a month.
You'll get used to it. My father had type 2 diabetes.
That's what I have.
And he said, I can fix this with exercise and with diet. And I'm trying to think of what he took. It was a specific supplement for particular metal. I'm forgetting which one. Right. And he was able to control his diabetes with diet and exercise.
Yeah, Russ.
Yeah.
You know me for a couple of years.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine my life without tortillas?
No.
Wow.
Did you give it up?
I have to, but even worse than that, Russ, my wife, beautiful baking.
No baking.
No
carbs. No carbs.
Well, I'm impressed, Gilbert. That's a commitment, buddy.
That's
good
serious.
For you. Good for you.
Yeah, but as far as being able to do it.
Well, it's hard, but but you can
we all
adapt.
Yeah.
We all know, with the grace of God and everything else, I can make excuses. I give myself one day of the week that I can splurge.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that can work for you.
Yeah, and some other stuff now that we got off the track what you were doing. Let me see. That young man that started the fires in Washington.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Did you know they had talked to him 3 times before they arrested him?
He'd been accused of it, of something else in the past, like assault or something, or he killed his dad.
Well, he has felonies. He's had felonies. He's probably felony.
That's often the case,
Yeah. He was not a good kid, man. I mean, he has some psychiatric problems or something. He's crazy.
Yep. And we've had 7 more cyber attacks on watersheds across the United States, and they're blaming it on Iran. They think it's Iran that's doing it.
Watersheds or water plants?
Both, probably.
Water plants. I call them sheds.
Okay.
That's well, I was listening to something right now. Maybe you guys can verify it for the public. This lady was talking about all this bombing in Iran. It's doing some good, but what's really killing Iran right now is economics.
Sure.
There's serious problems.
I did not know a lot of their insurance with their ships come out of the Lords of London.
Correct.
Right.
They do.
And yeah, they do. And they don't have enough money to supply Hezbollah and the other terrorist groups that they they have.
You mean Iran doesn't?
Iran doesn't.
Yeah,
have
not
any.
not
Yeah,
Lloyd's, but Iran.
Yeah, and that's
Iran, yeah.
and that's also true. There's been a lot of reports of like they're not getting food and stuff. It's the basics. Those guys are.
It's tough
struggling.
when you have serious fanatics in charge that don't care whether their people eat or not. How do you motivate them to do the right thing?
Yeah,
I think a lot of what's happening now, the fact that they are one of the largest oil countries in the world, right?
Well, they're
One of the
they're up there, but we produce more. Russia produces more.
Yeah, and
Saudi
there's-
Arabia
Well,
produces
well,
more.
We're talking about a country like Iran. You know, they're running out of gas.
Yeah, because
Their people,
correct,
yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah.
Same with Russia.
Russia
Right,
is having
but,
problems because their refineries have been attacked and their
Yeah,
pipelines
they
and
blow
and for
them
good
up.
reason. I mean,
Yeah.
if I were in Ukraine, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, so what's killing Iran more than just the bombing is the economics.
Correct,
Well, and there's a blockade.
and that's by design.
Right.
And that's by exactly that new guy? It starts with a B. Is he the treasurer?
The treasurer, I forget the name, but
I
yeah,
don't know. I'm
he
thinking of
was,
Hegseth as Secretary of War, but
yeah.
No, I'm talking about the guy in charge of the tech. He found the ways to really kill Iran, and
Yeah.
it's through money.
Well,
All the
Trump
things
has
that
given
they're
him
involved-
Trump has given him credit too,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and said he was
Yeah.
very creative. But still, it
Creative.
goes on. It goes on. We still have a conflict. They haven't given up, and they might just decide to die first. Who knows?
well, I think they for years and years and decades, well, actually over 1,000 years, we
Oh, yeah,
hear
yeah.
from Muslim fanatics, I want to be a martyr for Allah, and I said, well, grant them their wish.
Yeah.
Yep. Like the guy said the other day, they flipped the coin. Iran flipped the coin. They won, so they will receive.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's
Meaning-
Scott Bessent.
Besant, yeah,
Yeah,
I
Scott Bessent.
I
Yeah.
listened to him on the internet, give some lectures or talks. He's a very impressive guy. He's really
I
smart.
like the way he did it, and he doesn't have to be in the limelight at all.
No,
He
he's
says, "I'm going to find ways to take care of business
Yeah.
without getting lots of attention."
and he is extremely successful, kind of like President Trump.
Well, he's not one of the billionaires, though. He's only worth about
No,
600
he's
million.
not.
Yeah, only 600 million. Yeah.
And he's married to
not that
He's married,
successful.
he's married to a guy.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's gay. Well, they don't make a big
Well-
deal about it.
Well,
It's not.
at least
Well,
that's
that's his
positive
choice.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his choice, and the only person he's going to have to answer, that's the Lord Jesus Christ
Yeah.
when he gets up there in the pearly gates. So again, that's his choice, and he's welcome to have that lifestyle. Now, I saw this morning on TV. I can never pronounce her name. The great tennis star.
Navratilova?
Yeah. She has come out and spoke in favor of the women's sports and men in men's sports, and
Wow.
you can't
Oh.
combine them.
That's good. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah,
She
me
has-
too. And you're seeing more of it now, but they've been afraid to come out because they get trashed.
And this other lady who also was a basketball player, dark hair, she was out there. She goes, "What is the problem that people aren't coming out and supporting women?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know, why aren't you out there? Why the movie stars that know better aren't out there supporting us? What is the blank party
Well,
problem?"
I think it's because the whole industry has been woke for so long and there's been a huge emphasis on it that they're afraid for their jobs, for parts in future movies and stuff.
Right.
Well, we can't say that about Rogers, can we?
Don't know.
The football player that came out and
Oh.
Jeff Fauci.
Yeah, he went on a rant.
He's been outspoken. I give him some credit.
Yeah, he did. I liked it.
But we need more people like that to come out.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Hey, I appreciate the call,
Okay.
my friend.
Later.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I think Gilbert was talkative today.
He was, but he had a lot of interesting things
Very
to talk
interesting.
about.
Yeah. There was something he said about, and I looked it up. Oh, here it is. Accidents, deaths on the highway from DUIs.
Right.
It's around 12,000 a year still. Apparently hasn't moved a lot.
Well, I don't know that are you sure it's DUIs or just alcohol involved?
It said deaths, DUIs, deaths, but don't know.
Like I said,
I didn't do a lot of. I didn't.
From my brother's experience, they were pressured to label everything they could as alcohol involved.
Well, I asked specifically for DUIs, but I don't know if they did that. But I knew overall the highway deaths are down. So I looked at some of those numbers. In 1990, highway deaths were about 44,600. That's amazing.
Was that the peak, or was it even higher earlier?
I didn't go further back.
And you know what? The other thing we have to look at is per million people, or
well, yeah,
or
percentage.
Actually, the number of highway miles would be the best.
We have more highway miles now and less
Right.
deaths.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Right. Exactly.
In 25, it was about 36,640.
Yeah, that was partly because of COVID, I think.
Well, it came down. COVID was high. It spiked during 2021 at 43,000. Went back up to 43. It's down to 36 for the year of 2025.
That's
Why did it spike during COVID?
Well, I wouldn't think it would. That's
everything
why
I read,
I'm a little surprised, because
the DUI spoke.
you'd expect people were not putting out as many miles.
They put on. I guess they were driving more recklessly, though.
I don't know, maybe.
There were more deaths during COVID in 2021, and
Highway deaths?
and more. Just traffic deaths.
Huh.
But the also the DUI deaths were highest.
Okay.
Were people getting drunk during COVID and driving?
Sounds like maybe they were.
They weren't allowed to meet in buildings, so they were meeting in cars. I don't know.
I don't know. Or maybe they spent more time in their cars.
I don't know the rationale.
I remember seeing a lot of people driving with a mask on in their car and the windows up, and I'm going, what?
Well, you know how they vote. They're Democrats.
Oh, well, I will say.
We joke about that.
Yeah, I'll
true.
say that I don't think they all were, because one time, there was a store that said you got to have a mask on or something, and I thought, well, what the heck? And I put the mask on, and then I got in the car and drove somewhere, and I just forgot to take it off.
Well, you got labeled as a Democrat.
Yeah, probably happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have all kinds of glitches in data that way.
Yeah.
But I think what we see with the autonomous driving is the deaths will go down, continue to go down.
Yeah. It could conceivably be cut 90% or better.
I think it could. I think that's what we're seeing in the statistics. I've seen numbers indicating that the number of accidents with an autonomous Tesla are only about 1/8 of, or even less than what they are with a human driver.
So I talk to my grandkids occasionally about, well, not that I want to age myself or something. When
Oh, no, of course not.
Talk about phones or something. I say, look, when I was a kid, we didn't have phones. He says, you didn't have phones? Well, like cell phones,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And
We only had
computers
landlines.
and
What's
it was
a
hard to
landline?
imagine. But their kids were going to say, well, when I was a kid, people used to drive their own cars.
Drive cars. Can you imagine how dangerous that was?
And there were like 40,000 people a year died.
I think
and
you're
it's-
right.
it's gonna be shocking
We
to
will
people.
see that happen, unless some really enormous change happens, and we're in a period of enormous changes. So who knows how things could go? I'm optimistic to believe humanity will be around 50 years from now,
Oh, yeah.
but some people have their doubts.
There might
and
be some
their
changes.
reasons. Well,
There might be some countries that are smoking ash. I don't know, because we got some dangerous
I'm
weapons
thinking
out
more,
there.
if we do get some type of hyper artificial intelligence that's way smarter than people, the question is, do they decide they want to keep us around or not? I think that, Elon Musk says, and I tend to agree with him, that people are interesting, so they'd want interesting stuff.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. That's funny.
But I'm also, I made a similar comment to God, and I think it's kind of the same problem. If you have something that has enormous power and is enormously smart, why do they want humans around? Well, maybe because we're interesting.
They put you in a zoo.
And that's another problem. I mean, do we want to live as zoo animals?
Depends on what they're feeding us.
Well, you can make a good case that we're allowed to have free will because it's
Yeah.
more interesting than just having us all caged up.
I don't know. Hey, I want to talk about the FCC a little bit. We already mentioned the FCC license been approved for Derek
Yeah.
for this station, and we should be on the air. Who knows?
Well,
as soon as they get the equipment done and get some stuff
There's
done.
always potential glitches.
Yeah, but I read an article about the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, and he's, of course, under the Trump administration, they want to fight to get fairness back. Trump has been very upset
Oh yeah, by the way he's been treated by the
over
old
the years.
media.
Over the years.
Oh, yeah.
and he sued people and won.
Or at
millions
least
of
got
dollars.
settlements, which is pretty
Millions of
close.
dollars. Yeah, I mean, he's gotten out of that because they're not following the regulations they have before them now, which such as on national broadcast stuff, you need to have accessibility of fairness. It needs to be fair, and it's pretty loose.
I think first off, Trump, I believe, is a First Amendment free speech kind of guy.
Yes, he is.
And so as the major networks have lost enormous audience over the last 20 years.
Huge.
And so their influence has gone down too.
Well, between the TV and radio, that was 100% of all information back years ago.
Well, let's say 30, 40 years.
Yeah, it was
Before 2000.
People, I mean, they were 100% of that communication, digital stuff. And now, what are they now? 20%? 10%?
I don't know, but I could believe 20.
Yeah.
I mean, so few people now watch the old television systems because, frankly, what you're looking for, you can get so much better by going online and getting something that you're interested in.
I haven't watched regular TV in years.
94.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not quite completely accurate because I'm at somebody's house, a friend's house, or whatever, and they have a TV on. Well, I see it, So,
But there's things that are on TV that I watch, later on
right,
different.
yeah, sure, of
different
course.
streaming
Because you want to see
services.
this interview, you want to see that
Sure.
thing, or
But
whatever.
I don't sit down from a TV and watch NBC or ABC or CBS.
I classify myself as a TV addict because if a TV was on, I couldn't keep my attention off of it.
Okay.
I would invariably look at the noise and moving images and, I'd get glued to it. So I just had to get rid of the TV in my place.
When I get home at the end of the day, I'll check YouTube real quick. There's certain channels I want to say updates on what's going on.
Yes, I
Raw
do the
and
same thing.
Updates on what's going on.
Yeah. Experts,
in the
people I've
world.
learned to trust.
Sure, and those kind of stuffs. And I think a lot of people are doing that. But Brandon Carr, his job right now is restore fairness to the media because they still have influence, even if it's not
They
being
do.
used so much.
They do.
Says-
Especially among older people.
Yeah. For decades, it says Washington banned local television broadcast groups from reaching more than 39% of American households. I've never heard that at all, ever. I didn't know. I don't know what that
haven't
means.
heard that either. Oh, well, I knew that there was something where there was some kind of a regulation or a law that said you had to have a certain amount of competitiveness.
Yes.
But of course, the problem is that all the three networks essentially did the same stuff.
Well, yeah. It said the rule was built for the media world from the last century, the world of limited viewing options, a handful of networks,
Right.
a capable audience, nowhere to turn, which no longer exists.
Right, it's gone.
Now the rules are in place still,
Yep,
and the whole landscape's different.
it's completely different.
And this one says that, we get our news from YouTube, Netflix, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, traditional TV. So it's all over. And
Yeah, and the trend is everybody gets it on their phones. They don't even look at a computer screen anymore.
I do a lot of phone. I do.
I do very little phone stuff.
I'll sit in front of the TV and leave the TV off and check it on my phone.
Okay.
I've done that.
I see it all the time.
yeah.
But to me,
Yeah.
the phone is just too limiting because the screen is small.
I've got a
and
big
you,
one.
You try to type on it. You can't touch type on a phone.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you do that with a little bitty keypad like that?
I don't know.
I'm talking touch typing where you
Oh no, I don't really type, so I'm always one finger anyway. It doesn't
Well,
matter.
okay. See, but I learned to type when I was in 8th grade. So
But this mentions that President Trump recently he did a primetime address to the American people, and there were TV networks that refused to air it.
yes,
that never used to happen.
I recall that. No, that never happened before. I mean, it just and it shows the bias in the networks. they don't want the message of President Trump to get out. Of course, what I think it did is it incentivized a lot of people to see the address. What are they hiding from us?
Yeah, I think so. Might have. Well, Brendan Carr is wanting to repeal the national cap of the 39%, which I don't know why not. He says all these others, and YouTube and everybody, they get in every household. There's no cap.
Well,
on
right,
viewers.
right.
But if Congress proposed capping Netflix at 39%, households would tomorrow it would be laughter in the room. Nobody would say, "Well, we're going to say Netflix can only reach 39% of people." Nobody would go with that.
I don't
So
know.
why-
What percentage do they have? Do we know?
Well, they're available to 100%.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, it's just the nature of the internet. I
Right.
mean, every YouTube channel out there.
so trying to limit it would be ridiculous, but yet we limit the on-air stuff, is what he says.
Okay.
But to impose the same limits on broadcasters, Washington regulatory, to them it makes perfect sense, which doesn't. So this is about the national cap, not a free market policy, a conservative policy, or even serious competition part. It's the government picking winners and losers, tying one set of competitors down while others get to run free. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think
If
that's...
if it's open, open it. But I think they get around it anyway because a lot of these guys stream, don't
Oh,
they?
sure. Yeah. Most media
I don't know.
has a presence on the internet too.
Yeah, I've got. Of course,
I'm not sure if
thinking-
it's all or what the percentage, but my experience is that you can usually find a way to look at something on the internet if you don't have a broadcast antenna to collect stuff.
As they say, repealing the cap won't hand broadcasters special favor. It'll remove the government-imposed handicap.
That's
They'll
a free
still-
market
That's
approach.
exactly right. Then they'll compete to have winners and all that kind of stuff. Modernize these rules won't solve every problem. But I think they should. What are they waiting for? I mean, that rule was put in place.
Well, it has to be it's a law. It's statutory. I think. I don't think it's just a rule, is it?
It's a law. It's got to go back to Congress.
Yeah, so it has to go through Congress.
Yeah.
If it was a rule, they could propose a new rule.
Yeah, but I didn't realize they limited it. And
I do remember something like that.
But I know there's questions right now about the laws of fairness
Right.
because there's a lot of shows, and I know they picked The View out. They've had like 200 and some guests in a year. 0 were Republican, but yet they do a lot of political stuff, but they don't.
Oh yeah,
they don't allow
absolutely.
it. But you see them change. That's why Scott Jennings is on CNN.
Yeah.
I would guess. I mean, I don't know why. I wasn't there in the room when they decided it, but
Well, because
the fact that they don't have any balance.
there's pressure to allow more points of view.
But man, I mean, to bring on a guy like Scott Jennings, I'm sure the people at CNN says, "Okay, we understand. Couldn't we get someone like a Megan or something on there? Somebody soft, a
right.
soft Republican, not a smart one." Like,
Have you heard? I'm segueing a little bit that the current governor of Arizona is looking for a Republican running mate.
no, I've never heard that, and she's not.
I saw it pop up.
It's not
today.
going to happen.
They claimed that there was a
She's
Republican from somewhere up in the Phoenix area.
she's woke.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
I've seen the list of people. There wasn't a Republican on the list I saw, but that could change.
I'm just saying what I saw this morning.
Wow, I'd be interested in seeing that. That tells me something.
Yeah, it says she wants to keep her job and
She's in
getting
trouble.
desperate.
She says
yeah,
she's in
right,
trouble.
Exactly.
And she wants to appear to be less woke.
Right. Precisely so. Although it sounded to me like this Republican was pretty woke.
Yeah, but he carries the R. So some people,
Yeah.
they'll think it makes a difference, but I don't think it will.
I don't think it'll make a big difference, but that's what I read this morning. But again, it's just somebody throwing out. She might be just throwing out and see what happens.
I have no idea. I think she's in trouble.
Well, I think so too because she's
but
been terrible.
I didn't know she thought she was in trouble.
That's another question. Yeah,
Because, the polls have been very favorable for her.
they've been pretty favorable.
I think now they're starting to be more reasonable. I think I've heard, I'm not looking at them, but it shows that Biggs is in the lead. Not substantial.
Not by a huge
No,
amount, but
no.
yeah.
No. but I think that's realistic.
I do.
But
I do.
but yet I see other things. I saw a YouTube commentator that handicaps every race,
Uh-huh.
and he did the governors, and it showed him handicapping governors stay with Hobbs. You know,
Well,
which it was a slight edge,
yeah.
but it wasn't big. But that's what they showed, and
Well,
I don't think he was getting the real story.
who's the secretary? The Secretary of State is a Democrat, aren't
We
they?
don't. Yeah, yeah,
Oh well, and
It is.
they have a lot of control over elections,
do.
don't they?
yeah. That's how they get into elections.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's absolute pure cheating going on.
Is that what you're not saying?
That's what I'm not saying.
Okay. Since we mentioned Scott Jennings, I want to tell you he's coming to town. He's going to be here September 7th. He's a great guy. If you don't know anything about him, look him up. There's a fundraiser dinner. It's going to be at the Elks Club. Monday, September 7th. Doors open at 5. Program 6 to 8 at the Elks Lodge. Elks, not club, Elks Lodge. And also speaking that night, that will be there, will be our next governor, Andy Biggs, and Cena Kerr, the lieutenant
That's
governor.
pretty impressive. I might have to try and make time.
And then Warren Peterson's going to be there. He's running for attorney general. He'll be our next attorney general, I hope. I think he should be. There's nothing that should stop him. I mean, Chris Mays is terrible. Elijah Norton's going to be there.
Yeah, we
speaking.
had the primary, so now we know all the candidates.
Elijah
right?
Norton's running for state treasurer, and he's awesome. Young guy, self-made, millionaire, and wants to help people. Alex Kolodin, running for Secretary of State. He's going to be there. And Les Prismic, the mine inspector.
See, I want
They're all gonna
to
be
talk to
speaking.
I want to talk to Les because
He's a fun guy.
I've got this background in mining engineering.
He likes to
and
talk.
I own a few patented mining claims.
Now, look, that
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't bring myself to his attention.
there's still room to get in on the dinner. I think it's $75 to $100 a seat, something like that,
Yeah.
which is a bargain.
Well, I just figure you're going to get a table.
You're going to pay that anyway. Well, yeah, you get a table for about $1,000 if there's any available. There might be so.
Yeah.
A table of 8 for about $1,000.
Yeah.
You go to Yuma GOP. That's YUMA GOP, one word, .com /SJ, and it'll give you the breakdown on what it costs and what tickets are available.
For virtually, I mean, I guess they don't have corporation commissioners there, but it's most of the statewide candidates are going to be there. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, everything, but we're not sure about Lee coming, and Lee's running for the education superintendent. I think that's about the only one.
I don't recall.
She's the current treasurer.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I don't recall any the corporation commission candidates.
And the corporation commission, yeah, I'm not counting those. That's a different deal.
Well, but they're very important.
Tremendously so.
Yeah.
Yeah, tremendously so. But nobody knows who they are ever.
You are right. It's the way things work, but man, they just have so much power that people don't think. I mean, you want to talk about electric rates, water rates, all that. They regulate all that.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah, and it's constant, and I think it's misunderstood. People don't really know what they're up against, but it's almost courtroom type meetings because it's about regulation and stuff, and people question whether they can put in a well or put in stuff. I mean, they regulate a lot. I mean, it's tons of lawyers that are involved in that thing.
Well, water has always been heavily regulated out
Yeah.
west. I mean, more so because it's scarcer out here than it was in the
Right,
east.
Yeah, but they make sure that everything's complied with.
Well,
as far as
I'm
safety
understanding
and
that.
everything, too. And rates, but rates always seem to be the one thing we know they do.
Well, of course, it's pocketbook issues, and
Yeah.
people are very interested for good reasons.
Yeah. The Smithsonian, I've been talking about the Smithsonian recently, disappointingly. Donald Trump has been after him because he said they went woke.
Well, it looks that way to
And
me.
he's had some investigations that have said yes. So I was another article on the Smithsonian this morning about the director, Anthea Hartig. And I haven't read much about her. I didn't know much about her. And this article is talking about her attitude about her woke ideological capture is what she's trying to do. And,
Yeah.
she's been open about it. Now,
Well, that's
it's
good.
escaped me, but she's gone to a lot of seminars, a lot of things, talking about what she perceives her job. Now, this is a lady that makes $1 million a year.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's hot.
National. Well, I think she's one of them. National Museum American History Director. She's
Now, is this mostly government funds?
no.
Ah,
Smithsonian runs 60% on government funds, but none of the payroll
yeah.
because all of them break the caps of what a government employee is allowed
That's
to
what
make.
I was thinking of. I was going, in the government, you're capped. You can't reach $1 million.
Nope. So they pay the people out of the donations.
Yeah.
It's a shell game.
Well, I've always said money is fungible. You know, if you say you can only take money out of this pocket for this thing. Well, okay, so you just take it out of that pocket, but that means you have more in the other pocket to spend for something else.
Correct. Yeah, it's a shell game. But anyway, she said her calling, history as a practice, a prime tool of social justice.
Yeah.
I mean, she just flat out says it.
See, that's a direct denial of objective reality.
Correct. I mean, but it's been out in the open. She's been saying
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Well, but it hasn't gotten much attention.
Well, or it did get attention, and they liked it from the
from the
left.
wrong quarters.
Let's talk to Ted. Ted, how are you, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Good morning.
I'm watching Vice President Vance on fraud in this country.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, airline flight tickets to countries that we don't have criminal reprisals with, and bank accounts are going to be starting to move out of this country right now.
Well, I think they probably started when President Trump got elected.
Yeah. I'm telling you, he is going after them hard. You were on a hospital board, weren't you?
Yes.
And did you all ever discuss fraud within the Medicare, Medicaid system?
Nope. Never did.
Yeah.
Never came up.
Well, they're going to be doing it now because he's going after them.
Oh, and
He's got a
it's
panel. He's
it's
got a-
target rich, buddy. From what
Right,
they've
I
already
know.
discovered and seen, it's
Right.
gotten completely crazy, particularly since COVID.
Right. I mean, I sent all my documentation in for Vicky and all when she was close to death for all her benefits and all,
Yeah.
and I could track all of them. But he's got this panel with him right now. They're going to rip this apart. You're going to see people trying to get out of this country that are not even citizens
Well,
with bags of money.
our director of the bio clinic didn't get out in time because he's in jail with waiting. I mean, he's being held on a $50 million bond for fraud, medical
Right.
fraud.
Well, we have some ditches that need cleaning out and stuff like that.
I don't know if they do that anymore. I don't know. But he's in trouble,
Yeah.
and his wife's out of the country somewhere. They're wanting her,
Right.
and a lot of his investments are over out of country. So don't know
Right.
what we'll be able to recover.
Right. Well, he's put them on notice right now, and I guarantee you there's going to be air flight booming out of this country right now with bags of money.
Well, they've been
If
going
it is
after it,
already-
buddy. Since the Somalis kind of showed their head up in Minnesota on fraud, it's expanded. Now they're looking at all of it. And there's some
Right.
states, I think, that should leave.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
this is the United States of Arizona, so we're separate from some of this corruption. Some of it.
I hope so.
I
hope
think
so.
it's probably everywhere, but more so in democratically controlled states.
More
in
where
my
the
opinion.
where the leadership supports it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I hope Hogle and Burchett get together in Tennessee because they got a big problem with it there, and that's
Yeah.
only because of what my mother's seen going on with the medical and financial corruption in Tennessee. And
Well-
remember, I told you.
What's that?
It's like a plague. It starts in one place and it just goes across.
Well,
the
yeah,
country.
people learn techniques, and then those techniques get transmitted to other unethical people.
And then everybody does it, and we wonder why.
Yeah.
You look in Minnesota where the Somalis are. They started looking at the number of kids that they have. All of a sudden, these daycares, it just started quadrupling the numbers.
Right.
Started going up like crazy.
And, I don't know if anybody has looked at this, but we have the spike in, quote, autism.
Yeah.
But it turns out there's
Oh, yeah.
federal programs that pay you money
Right.
if you are diagnosed autistic.
So everybody has autism.
Yeah.
I know.
And that was a big deal
Yeah, it
in
was.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at some of the symptomatic findings of autism in children.
Yeah.
By the medical profession. My whole high school and all was autism.
Yeah. I looked at some of that too, Ted, and I said, it's not really all that abnormal.
Yeah.
Especially the kind of edge groups, on the autism spectrum somewhere.
I think a mandatory film that should be shown in school from 5th grade on is The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that might help people understand the man behind the mirror.
Well, that was shown every year on the networks when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't escape it.
Right.
I mean, it also was a pretty good movie, but
And half of it was in color.
yeah.
Yeah, that holding that cellulose in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I still have that lyrics going on in my head. We're off to meet the wizard,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're off to beat the wizard. But I'm going to tell you, man, Vance I don't think he's playing around.
No.
At least from seeing who's sitting on the board around him.
But we
need to do it.
I'd like to see numbers roll in faster than they are. The same with ICE. They're doing a great job, but I'd like to see it roll in faster, more numbers.
Right. Well, we've got politicians saying that that's an illegal entity and it shouldn't be there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
What, ICE? Yeah.
There are people running for
yeah.
Congress openly saying we need to abolish ICE.
Yeah. Well, they'll have that opportunity if they get the majority, and they can do that.
Well, that's correct.
But right now, it's the law.
Right. And
Yeah.
it has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I was always told if you do the crime, you got to do the time.
Yeah.
It
Well,
doesn't matter whoever's enforcing it or whoever's controlling it. If you do the crime, you got to do the time.
Obama liked ICE. He never had a problem. He used it. He deported a lot of people.
Let's not go there, please. Him and Michael, I tell you, that was just a
Michael,
disgrace of the
okay.
White House. They disgraced the White House, especially her.
Yeah. But he supported ICE.
Yeah, those statistics were bumped up a lot because they counted a lot of people that just came across the border and went back as deportations.
Sure, they did.
Yeah, numbers don't mean anything. I didn't see him out there with a bulletproof vest on trying to round up illegals. Sorry, he wasn't there.
Well, you're not going to see Trump do it either, buddy.
But he got a nice basketball court put in the White House. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
But I just hope people are watching what's going on here, especially right now with these midterms,
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
They're putting some wackos, wackos in their parties.
Well,
at the top of the,
it looks
list.
well, and we'll see if they win the general. But Abdul El Sayed, Edward just sent me that he won Michigan's primary.
Primary, right?
It was
Yeah, it was
close.
close.
I mean,
It was
I don't know if they've officially called it, but Edward sent me a.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I was watching some of the earlier returns this morning.
And he's very much a social.
Oh, he's very much, yeah.
And I got some stories on him, but he wants to close, all the police departments and everything.
I just call him a straight out communist, but
Right. Well,
But-
Virginia's basically a closet communist now. I think there's only 3 jurisdictions that have gone Republican, and I was born there, and I had no problem leaving that misguided state.
they probably were happy too.
I had more family. I think I had one of the biggest families in Virginia, popular family-wise, one of the biggest. And the ones that stayed were in the bureaucratic system in the federal government.
and there's a lot of that
Naturally.
in Virginia because it's right next to D.C.
Yeah, well, you know what flows downhill?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted.
But yes, sir. You guys keep an eye on this. What's going on because
All right.
it's just out of control now. I mean,
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. And,
Republicans.
I look forward to that
yeah,
stuff rolling in.
the Republicans need to stand up harder on this and take advantage of what they've been given.
Well, I think they're aware, and I think they are. We'll see.
Well, they need to talk louder. They need to get more speeches going on in states, in jurisdictions that are falling into the trap of this communist Democratic Party.
Yeah. Well, buddy, I'm glad with what I see. I see it out there, so we'll see.
Okay, you guys have a good
All right,
day.
buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think they're doing a good job. of
Well,
doing it.
I think you're right.
I'm looking for this Michigan real quick. I'm going to get away from Smithsonian, but
Sure.
okay, here's the latest. It looks like 98.7% are in, expected votes are in. And it's got Al Saeed at 749.50 and Stevens, the second place, 726.057. So very close, but they're saying it's enough.
And that's the primary.
They've got a projected winner.
Now it's an open primary in Michigan, as I understand it. And I read some comments this morning saying that there might be some crossover vote for El Said because they think he's easier to beat.
Oh, some Republicans might have voted.
Right.
I hate that program. You know, sometimes that'll bite you.
Yeah, it can.
I
I mean, that's how we got the income tax
now
amendment.
there's a lot of voters, I understand, that voted for Haley Stevens, the lady that came in second by very, very close number.
Right.
That they would never vote for El Said because he's definitely a socialist.
He's very radical. I mean, I call him a communist.
Yeah. So now it shows the Republican got 0 votes. They don't even count him. I mean, because he's uncontested, so they didn't even vote.
They're probably not looking at it for
Well,
whatever reason.
maybe
It's
they-
uncontested.
Race
so-
uncontested, so they just put 0 votes.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
You know, at least in Yuma or in Arizona, that's
I mean, he would definitely get some votes because there are going to be a few Republicans that go in and say, well, check it off.
Yeah, uncontested still has votes usually in most states.
Well, there's a map that shows results by county.
Yeah, and it's pretty consistent with what the numbers were.
Well, what's interesting is that it was about 50-50, roughly. He got
Yeah.
El Said got a little bit more.
Yeah, it was really close.
But that close, I mean, there's a significant difference between those candidates. They're not like eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
But the big fight is within the
the Democratic Party. Yeah.
That's the big fight right now. Let me finish up with the Smithsonian's director.
Go ahead.
Athia Hartig in 2025. So this has been on the record for a while, but some I've never known. She was at the University of California in Los Angeles. And she said, she described a number of ways in which your National Museum of History is taking an equity-based justice forward, community-driven, and necessary, humble approach to public history and to service later. Okay, and asserted that the United States' long and violent, radical history continues to be present in our reckoning, if you will. Redress in the form of reparations, of course, goes beyond acknowledgement of wrongdoing. It should leverage responsibility. It should think about the act of correction, and we pursue restorative justice. And for us on the call, restorative justice through history. She is a historian and framing everything under equity
It's all
and restorative
ideological.
justice. Yes.
She's saying ideology drives me, and that's how I look at history. And how can we represent history to get the results I want?
Right. And you the way you do that is
Well, it's easy.
only talk about the history you want.
Exactly.
That supports your cause.
You find an example that shows what you want.
And then-
it's maybe extremely rare
and then
and
hide every-
uncommon, and then you claim that is the representative
Right.
example.
You put all the other history in the back room.
Yeah, we're not interested in that. So.
That got the interest of some in Congress. She had to go give testimony on Capitol Hill since we spend so much money on them, like $1 billion a year to the
Yeah.
Smithsonian. Well, so this is what she's told Capitol Hill last month. Our work is governed by the Smithsonian standards of scholarship, accuracy, independence, and nonpartisanship. The museum does not take sides in American political debates. We preserve and document the evidence of American life in all its breadth so that the public can encounter the past and draw their own conclusions. That sounds like a public relations person.
I was
wrote
going to
that.
say that sounds a lot different than what she said in California.
Yeah. Well, then she says, however. Now, whenever you say however,
Yeah.
it's just like saying but.
Yeah.
Everything you just said, forget about it. I got a different story.
Yeah.
In her presentation to UCLA, she asserted that history as a practice is, for me, a prime tool of social justice. And she began her talk with land acknowledgement. I don't know if she told Congress this might be just more from the past, that showing a picture of the American flag defaced with the words that appeared to read, defund the police. Photo was from Black Lives Matter protest in Washington, D.C. in 2020. Hartig showed later in the presentation depicted a protester holding a sign that read, America loving you is complicated. Now, she's promoting all these images and pictures to create a certain ideology forward, bring it forward. And she's hiding everything else. So the museum, she remarked that the museum opened in 1964 as this kind of Cold War, you know. We're going to be the best and most technologically advanced country in the nation, and we're going to show everyone how we did that. We clearly have moved away from that. Museum's bold new vision.
See, that's counterfactual. I mean, we are that. We are the most. We are the most advanced. We're the most successful society ever.
But here's her new bold vision: to become the most accessible, inclusive, relevant, and sustainable public history institution in the country. Thus, the vision states, will allow the museum to serve as an audience that reflects the full racial, class, gender, ethnic, and geographic demographics of the United States. Museum joined a very collaborative Smithsonian-wide collecting effort around Black Lives Matter to document and preserve and share artifacts focused on Black Lives Matter to show the history of the movement starting in 2012. With pictures of protesters outside White House from the summer of 2020, spoke highly of these phenomenal vertical statements, signs expressing the kind of very heartfelt and incredibly poignant message. She praised anti-ICE organizations called Tushru for solidarity. It's a word, I guess that's the name of the group. A truly remarkable group highlighting its collaboration with the Black Lives Matter movement. Tushru for solidarity is a nonviolent, which means they throw things.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Direct action.
Yeah, the left's version of nonviolence is
violence.
Anything we do.
Yeah. A project of Japanese American social justice advocates, and I doubt there's any Japanese working in that, and allies working to end detention sites, detention sites for immigrants and stuff, and support directly impacted immigrant and refugees communities that are being targeted by racist, inhumane immigration policies. We stand on the moral authority of Japanese Americans who suffered the atrocities and legacy U.S. concentration camps during World War II. And we say, stop repeating history. This is in charge of the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the woke takeover of one of our primary historical institutions.
And she says, besides Black Lives Matter's initiative, the museum is pursuing a proactive multilingual strategy to support language justice. The idea, of course, is that everyone has the right to communicate in the language in which they feel most comfortable, to be understood, and to understand. Since the fall of 2019, all exhibits have signage and digital projects that will be bilingual in English and Spanish, and a number of them in more languages, depending on the project and the communities of origin. We're under attack for speaking communicated truth, and urge students to raise your voices and speak them together. It continues to grow. Resolute in my mind, which is history, is the key that unlocks the mysteries of humanity, of meaning, of place, of conquest, of love, power, authority, and self. We are tellers of stories and seekers of truth, hopefully embraced by nuance, ambassadors of empathy, and defenders of inalienable rights. She's a director of a museum.
Right. But she, at the very end there, she's saying things with a whole lot of words that she defines in different ways than most people would.
Probably. Yes, she's talking social justice.
She's saying we are defenders of truth. but it's truth as she defines it.
I think she makes $1 million a year doing that.
You know, that's a heck of a gig.
I want that. No, I couldn't do it with straight face. I mean, I couldn't do the
Well,
woke.
we would do we'd probably follow the more traditional route,
Like-
explain how America advanced technology throughout the world, saved hundreds of millions of lives by our sharing of that technology, that when other countries failed to pursue a certain technology, we stepped up and made it happen.
Yeah.
You know, there is a lot of reality there she's hiding.
I was wrong about her salary. She's only $370,000.
Oh, well,
She's one of the lower ones at the social
At
Smithsonian. Yeah.
Really? She's director, and she's one of the lower
Well,
ones.
she's a director of one of the museums in
Ah.
the group. I think they have 17.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
They're a big organization.
Yeah, she's the Elizabeth Macmillan director of the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. Her compensation is funded by private endowment rather than federal. Yeah, because they have to, because they break all the rules.
Well, because
The
there's
ceilings.
a ceiling for how much you can get federally,
Right.
which you don't see that. By the way, you've seen places like you hear of, some police chief out of California retiring with $350,000 a year retirement income.
That's pretty good.
And it's because they don't have federal limits. They're a state organization.
Well, Hegseth doesn't make what he's make like $240,000 a year.
Something like that.
This museum director at one of those museums is $370,000.
Sure. Well, I think that's still more than what the president would make if he took a salary, but I understand he doesn't take a salary.
He has to take it legally. He just donates it.
Okay.
I think he's over 400 though.
Is it? Yeah, it could be that it's gone up because of inflation.
I remember
You know,
when it was
the-
200.
Well, the dollar's worth a lot less now
Yeah.
than it was. I mean, from when I was a teenager, the value of the dollar has dropped about 90%.
Yeah, he's got a base salary of 400,000.
Oh,
Does
okay.
that mean he gets bonuses? Does he ever get a bonus?
Well, the base salary means that they don't count the security, they don't count his
Oh.
health benefits.
Oh,
they
here it
don't-
is. He has an expense allowance of 50,000, a travel allowance of 100,000, entertainment budget of 19,000.
but
Really?
that
That doesn't
now,
sound like
is
much.
this for president or Hegseth?
President of the United States.
Yeah. You see, 100,000 travel allowance, that does not include Air Force One. It doesn't include the helicopters. Doesn't include all the Secret Service agents.
I'd say that's like one trip in Air Force One.
I was going to say it's a couple hours on some of these big jets.
Yeah. that's-
Well, a couple days. I'm exaggerating
Well-
for effect.
to fly Air Force One is more than just the plane.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The security, the escorts, I don't know
All
what all
of
they
that.
have. Who knows what they have?
But
they have-
it's costly.
yeah, it's very much costly. Yeah. But they get all this money, and I know they say it's from private funds, but 60% of those Smithsonian's are covered by tax dollars, $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
To make us more woke. That's
Well,
got to
that's
change.
what
And that's
you-
what they're working on.
I think it is. I think that what we are seeing and what is happening, which I support, is a counter revolution by President Trump, which the vast majority of people in the country support. And those who are on the left and far left hate because it's doing away with all the crazy stuff they've been putting into policy around the country.
And I think the Black Lives Matter is a story that needs to be
Well, yeah,
preserved.
include all the corruption.
But you do the whole story.
Yeah.
You don't glorify it.
Well, and I wrote, I think a lot of that, not all, but a lot of it came from the, was it George Floyd in Minneapolis
Yeah.
incident. And I wrote several articles about that. And there's just a huge amount of facts that have been distorted and falsified
Right.
about what happened there.
Right. I have read that, but people don't want to hear it.
No, they don't. They don't. I mean, and you go so far as to the coroner changing his report under political pressure.
Yeah. And he had drugs in his system, I think, that
Oh,
were
yeah.
fatal.
Very, very large amounts.
Yeah. Fatal for
And-
most people. Maybe he had an intolerance. I don't know.
And the fact that he was shouting, "I can't breathe," before he was ever put on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot we're not told, but
Well, you can
It's kinda
dig for it. You can find it. It's there.
But it's still-
but
it's-
it's hard. You have to work at it.
But the government there allowed the protest.
Well, they did.
Let them protest, and they
Well,
just leave
they
them
were
alone.
on the side of the protest.
Right. And they
That famous photograph. I think it wasn't it there where they had the flames consuming a building in the background. They reported a mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah. I don't know if it was there or not, but it was during that time era.
Yeah, it was during that-
one
those-
city, but a lot of cities did that.
Yeah,
Left cities,
right.
Democrat cities.
You didn't see it as much in conservative areas.
No, because it wouldn't be tolerated.
Exactly.
We
I
have
mean,
law
that's
and order.
exactly right. There's one thing, I was involved in a lot of the protests that happened in the early 70s, middle 70s on college campuses. And the police learned, and I read these reports, if you want to stop the damage, you have to clamp down very fast right away.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And just exactly the opposite was done during the
Right,
George Floyd.
right.
A lot of the authorities in leftist areas actually sort of promoted it. Well, go ahead. We don't care. Let them get them out of their system.
Right.
I mean, it's just
they
crazy.
They verbalized that. They would.
Yes,
verbalize
they
that,
actually
yeah.
would say that. I mean, you have
Baltimore did that.
in Minneapolis, I think you had the governor, Walz's wife, said, "Well, we left the windows open so we could smell the burning of the tires." It was revolutionary.
Wow.
You know.
She was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, they thought that was good,
Wow.
and it's not good. Billions of dollars lost by the destruction done.
Yes, it was. And that was all over the country. Nation's largest food distributor is not going to take any more Mexican lettuce because of the
They had that
outbreaks of
problem.
parasite. And Cisco is the one that's putting that out. Cisco, I guess, they're the largest, the nation's largest.
Okay.
And they said they've shifted to U.S. grown lettuce because of the outbreak.
Well, I know that we produce huge amounts of lettuce here in
Yeah, not right now, but it's in California right now, so we're producing it.
well,
It's seasonal.
It's
for us.
seasonal, but we have a long growing season here.
5 months, I think. So,
Yeah,
right?
that's a
Something like that.
significant amount, mostly during the winter, I think.
Yeah. It starts around. They start planting around September next month. It's coming.
Yeah, and we become the major producer in the winter, as I understand.
Like 95% or something. I
huge
hear
amount,
of the
huge
nation. But
And it's under very strictly controlled circumstances. We have irrigation.
Yeah.
The irrigation is tightly controlled.
well, safety is huge here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen it change. I've lived here
when you're
since
saying
95.
safety, you're talking about safety to the consumer,
Right.
as being the major focus.
Right.
I mean, there's safety for workers too, but the major focus is to get that perfect head of lettuce that is safe to the
Yeah.
consumer.
And they put up fencing.
Oh.
The people in the field have things on their shoes. They put
All kinds.
they put hair nets on. Did you know that hair nets to pull lettuce up and stuff?
Yeah, I did not know, but I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
gloves, hair nets, food booties on their shoes.
Yeah, there's
And they keep an eye out for animal disturbance. If there's
Oh,
an
yeah.
animal thing, they block it off.
yeah, I've seen this happening over the last few years. They put up huge fences to keep deer and horses out of the fields.
Yeah.
Because they just do so much destruction.
And then, the farmers used to run around with the dogs. They don't do that anymore. There's no dogs.
Yeah, I know that. It's been years ago, so I'm not sure if they do this, but there was a problem with birds coming in
Sure.
and eating the young crops before they got a chance, or even the seeds, and so they had people and special devices and everything to keep birds away from
Basically
the fields.
shotguns. I mean,
Yeah, I did a small interview with a guy. It was a great story because I see this guy standing with a shotgun by a field. I thought, I want to know what's going on here. It was
they're
a great
blanks mostly.
story.
They're just to make noise mostly. And there's also,
Yeah.
they have some shotgun stuff that's automated.
Yeah, those are mostly run by propane.
Are they?
They have propane bag makers, and the problem is the birds get used to it. They
Yeah,
say,
they
"Well,
don't
I
care."
didn't get hit with anything. Well, it's just a noise.
I'm not dead. I'm
Yeah,
just-
right. Yeah, I mean that's what you see is that
Well-
they have an effect at first, and then over time it gradually decreases.
The Cisco getting away from Mexico. Federal health officials are investigating the multi-state outbreak, the parasite linked to the product. And it's all coming out of Mexico, but under the Taylor Farm name, which has not been good for them, I don't think.
No, I'm
And these
sure.
kind of things are devastating to our growers
Oh.
because they're going to see, well, lettuce had a parasite in it. So lettuce sales all over the nation are going to go down.
Drop.
They're not going to be looking to see if it comes from
No,
Mexico
correct.
or whatever it does. And it takes a while to get through that. So these things can be just horrible.
And you have had, I think I think 3 deaths so far, something like that,
I
that
don't
are
know.
attributed to it. And
It's sickened at least 11,234
wow,
people. That's in Michigan.
wow, that's much higher than I'd heard before.
Well, and Cisco CEO Kevin Huracan, of course, he's in a panic.
Well, yeah,
he did the announcement as the Food and Drug Administration, which is FDA and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, investigate the outbreak, which has been connected to 2 deaths in Michigan this week.
wow, I have sympathy for this guy.
Oh,
Because
my gosh.
this is virtually entirely beyond his control.
Well, yeah.
And he's taking the heat for it.
I mean, they run the business. They transport it out of Mexico. I don't know how much they have as far as owning the product or the the actual growing of it or whatever. But they have different rules, regulations, and,
They do.
and deals down in Mexico.
Yeah, they do.
Now it's up to the individual business on what they perform. It's not, even if it's not required. But what we've seen and I've seen here in Yuma, our farmers are way ahead of regulation.
I think they are. I think
You
they're
know-
just super cautious.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing they never want to have happen.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And yet it does. The world is we don't control everything.
The Taylor Farms, they voluntarily recalled iceberg lettuce, a lot of it, and that was sold under the Taylor Fresh Foods and Market Side brands. It maintained that the FDA has not identified or confirmed positive test results of the Cyclospora, which is the particular thing that's causing all the problems, the
Right.
parasite. They described they had a false positive ones, but it was not turned out to not be it.
Got to be very careful.
But it is coming in. I mean, people are getting it, and it's an intestinal illness, explosive diarrhea. You think you would notice that?
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll notice that when that happens. It can last for weeks or even months.
Wow.
If you leave it untreated, you got to get it taken care of. It won't go away.
How do they treat it? Do you know?
I don't know. But it
I
says
mean, there are, it's a parasite. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bacterium, is it?
they call it a parasite.
Yeah.
But
I think it's more than a bacterium.
It's
bigger.
abdominal cramping, bloating, nausea, fatigue, significant weight loss. See, there you go, weight loss. That'll help a lot of people. It's not the way to do it.
No, it's got its own problems.
Kevin says we're not buying iceberg lettuce from them, and we're not buying it from Mexico. And that's Cisco. No, that was the CEO of Taylor Farms. And he says to the degree that we can further diversify our procurement, that is something we've actually working on. And then and he says that Cisco stopped selling, distributing affected lettuce last month. It's high quality. Oh, that is a Cisco CEO. That's not Taylor Farm CEO. It's Cisco. It's high quality, high integrity shop. We've had to take these actions. We've moved sources of product away from them to the degree that we can because they're really big. You can't just turn it off overnight. So that was a Cisco CEO.
Right.
And of course, they're the one that's distributing it all. And it looks like they cut off Taylor Farms, at least from Mexico.
See, before we had the incredible communication systems we have now, lots of this stuff was not caught
Probably not.
because you just
Just don't know where it came from.
Right.
Somebody
Something
got sick.
happened and
Must have
people
been
got
something I
sick.
ate.
and-
Yeah,
Now, because you have so many thousands in Michigan, it might have been caught, because it's such a large number.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons we developed public health programs is so they could catch things like this.
and that's through communication of
Right.
Taylor Farms is the largest producer. They're the biggest, and if we're not able to buy from them, we easily go elsewhere.
can, or
That's what they say, can. I don't know if that's a misprint.
I don't
or if
know.
they're
It
the
sounds kind
largest
of weird. We're the largest and the biggest, but we can easily go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And there's only so much lettuce being produced.
Replacing the amount we buy elsewhere is the challenge, and it's
Ah,
something
okay.
that we're working on. But does that mean that Taylor Farms are going to have Parasite for the rest of their existence?
No, of course not.
No. And maybe the new supplier will just buy the lettuce from the same place Taylor Farm was. I don't know. That's not always the answer.
Probably
I don't know.
contractual things. I mean, I think the people who are making pronouncements about where this may be coming from have been pretty cautious, and they say we don't know. We had a false positive. We're
they're-
still investigating.
They're all saying Mexico, but
yeah, but that isn't a particular.
and poor Taylor
farm
Farms is
or
the one that's
place.
getting the nail, but
Yeah.
which is just terrible. I don't know how they're doing. Of course, they got presence here and everything, but a good company.
You know, it's just you see this, which is a terrible injustice. I mean, you're talking about it. Somebody's claiming they're an injustice because I didn't get a loan because I don't make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But here you've got a company where people depend on for their livelihoods.
Yeah.
That's having enormous stress put on it because of a problem they didn't really cause.
We don't know. I don't know how much control they had over that Mexican farm, and maybe
Right.
they ran
But
it.
I mean,
you know?
and so much depends on what captures people's
Yeah.
attention at the time.
And who knows what introduced that parasite?
Yes, right, exactly.
I'm sure it wasn't the farmers. They didn't.
Probably not.
Yeah.
We don't know. And you know, we know that there were at least people looking at this something like this as a form of biological warfare. So,
It's possible. Let's talk to Miss Sandy. Good morning, Sandy.
yeah, Sandy's great.
Good morning. I just sent you from Google medication that you need to get, and you can't get it over the counter. You got to go to a doctor to get rid of that cyclospora parasite.
Okay.
You can't just use over the counter antidiarrheal medications. but-
Yeah, right. That just treats the symptom.
Right, a primary first-line antibiotic, and I'll kill the name, trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole.
I think you did pretty well. You did better than me. That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then they've got nitrozoanide used as an alternative choice for patients who have a sulfa drug allergy. And
So-
they have ciprofloxacin, another alternative option prescribed when a patient can't take the sulfa drugs.
Well, that all
Because I guess
sounds.
some people are allergic to that.
Yeah.
So
Those all sound like
people need to be
antibiotics.
aware this is not something you want to just say, not to take care of it. If
Yeah.
you get that explosive diarrhea, you want to take care of it. Now, those two patients that died, they were in worse shape, but still, if they hadn't eaten that product, whatever it was, lettuce or whatever, they would still be alive.
Well,
Right.
and
So
this,
that's very irritating to me.
and it's
know.
exacerbated here where you got high temperatures because you get that kind of diarrhea. You lose a lot of water,
Yeah.
and so you can get
Oh, yeah.
severely
That's a good
dehydrated
point.
easily.
And it disrupts your social.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
It seems like more of the cases are in the upper east.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
probably
if that's true. Like I've heard Michigan, and so I don't know. Have you heard of anyone in our area?
No.
No.
But it's been in Arizona. I read there was something in Arizona, but I don't remember where I read that.
Right.
so.
And I was listening to you. It sounds like they're not exactly sure
No.
about where it came from.
No.
Yeah.
And it could be introduced
So-
after it gets to the store, even. But if it's multiple
I
stores,
know,
that's
I know.
unlikely. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it.
Well,
But the fact that they haven't traced it down, Matt, yet sounds interesting. I mean, it's like, what's going on?
But this treatment you're talking about says 7 to 10 days, so it's not going to go away
And
quickly.
those sounded like they're antibiotics, aren't they? I mean, so this is a
yeah,
bacteria.
Yeah,
Still calls it a
it's,
parasite. It says-
antibiotic.
Yeah, well, you could have a bacteria considered to be a parasite. I
It says
guess.
it disrupts the parasite's ability to produce folic acid, preventing it from multiplying.
Yeah, I think that's a bacteria of some
I
kind.
wonder if the parasite is like some little things get inside you that they have babies and it comes back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Well, that
Something
something
bacteria
that
would.
one of my husband's families, they went to a beach in Mexico somewhere, and they ended up getting some sort of bug, and it kept coming back.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Montezuma's revenge. I heard.
Stomach troubles.
Sounds pretty
Say
similar
again?
to this.
Yeah, Montezuma's revenge. I think they call it.
But
Well,
yeah,
this was different.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the bug was, it would have babies, and then it
Ugh.
would break out in the kids,
Wow.
and then they'd, it took them a while to get rid of it.
there's a
I
lot
don't
of
remember what it was.
there's
but-
a lot of stuff in tropical areas that people from more temperate countries are more subject to because they haven't grown up with it. And there's just a lot of bugs down there that are different than we're used to, and some of them are very bad.
Well, something like I remember the name of it. It's a bacteria, H. pylori, and they said it could have been from water, food, people handling water
Yeah.
or food at
Yeah.
fast food restaurants.
Yeah, it's just,
And they told me it can lead to like stomach cancer.
Yeah.
And they said a lot of people in third world countries have it, and they don't even know they have it.
oh yeah, very common.
So they have it, but they're not having the symptoms to know.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that's going to keep them from
Transmitting.
having, stomach cancer or something in the future, which is kind of sad when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
yeah. Is that? I'm trying to think if that's associated with ulcers in the stomach too. Maybe I'm.
it was what they found. They thought it was ulcers, but some scientists, a good scientist, figured out that it wasn't ulcers, it was the bacteria that was causing it. So, and you're probably remembering that, because you've got good memory. You're
I
probably
wish.
remembering reading that or something. I only know because I ended up getting it.
Yeah.
And I tried calling earlier,
Right.
and I just wanted to ask this question. I have antenna TV, but I do get like Ion, Outlaw, Bounce, and some other channels, okay?
Okay.
But I have like the regular channels, and I don't watch them a lot, ABC, NBC, CBS. But once in a while I am, and I see ads from our governor. And she has like this cowboy or rancher talk, and she's so bipartisan, we got to vote for her again. And I'm going, now, wait a minute. I know from Russ Clark's show, she is not bipartisan.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I never see any Andy Biggs ads. Are they just maybe on the better channels like you guys have, or?
I don't really know. I know he's been
Okay.
out there. He's doing some ads, but remember he was in the primary first,
Right.
so I don't know how he handled it.
Well, she's hitting them real hard, saying we can't have Biggs. And she's doing the same old the Democrats do. It's all filled with lies. I mean, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
So. And then the other thing is, and this is kind of maybe frivolous, but if they do vote for daylight savings, I think in Arizona we have standard.
Correct.
So would Arizona change to daylight savings, or would we always be off?
You mean
Or do you know?
we'd either have to be Mountain or Pacific. I mean, if they're going to fix it one way or the other.
I think what would happen is we would probably have a one-time
Yeah.
1 hour change.
And it would never change again. We'd never
That's the
change
idea.
anyway. But I don't know. You mean we
See,
might have
that's
to
what
change?
I'm trying to
or-
figure.
We're
I'm
on-
just trying to
we
figure
are-
out if we would be the same like with California,
or with
um,
Yuma,
Colorado.
Yuma's
or
on
Nevada, stuff like that, or would we be like maybe
Arizona.
one of the few states in the country that never matches with whoever we're nearby?
We'll have to pick
Arizona's on Mountain Standard Time
normal. Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
We never change. If it depends what the legislation mandates. There's the version that is out there right now would change everything to make daylight savings time standard everywhere.
Which would put us where?
Which would put
Okay.
us,
California
which would
time?
mean that we would change 1 hour, depending. I think it'd be forward, and that would put us, I think, the same as. Let's see, forward.
It'd have to be California then.
We would either be
But
the same as
California's
California or
a
New Mexico.
Pacific time zone.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it
correct.
would depend on what time zone Arizona falls in, huh?
We're in mountain time zone, and I think we would just change to whatever mountain time zone was. That's what I think would happen.
Right.
Okay.
And then we'd
All
never,
this time, I thought we'd be Pacific because we're so close to California.
No,
We're
in the
in
mountains.
mountains.
Shows I'm off, huh?
Well, you see,
I
half
didn't know better.
the year we're the same as Pacific because they switched to daylight savings time, and we stay on Mountain Standard.
Right.
Right. I just didn't know that.
I understand.
I knew that we changed once, but I thought it was because we stayed on standard and they changed.
That's correct.
That's what I thought was going on.
You were correct.
And so I thought, well, gosh, maybe this will fix it so that we'll always be the same as California, Nevada. But it sounds like I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.
I am trying to think. We will. My belief is we will stay in Mountain time zone, but what is standard for
Okay.
Mountain time might change an hour.
Okay. All right. Cool. It's funny. I never realized we were in Mountain. I don't know. I
Learn
just thought,
something every day.
I guess because we live so close, I thought, oh, but I was wrong.
Thank you, Sandy.
Anyway, you guys have a good day, and
All
I'm
right.
just hoping Andy Biggs and I'm hoping a bunch of Republicans will beat out these communists, because I agree with Dean. They're communists.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a very serious thing. And I heard President Trump speak. I heard a little bit of a clip, which I think he spoke maybe yesterday or early this morning. And he was basically pointing out, because they were saying, how come messages aren't getting out? And he said, well, ABC, NBC, CBS, they are not reporting any of the good things. Because he said, I just heard Laura Ingraham, and she was talking about how, like, trade and the economy is really great, but he said you never hear it in those channels.
Correct.
So, like, in the basic channels, people that have it, like they're seeing the governor's ads, they're not seeing anything positive about what President Trump or any of the Republicans are doing. So they're going to have to get out there maybe more on social media. I know President Trump does.
Yeah.
But I think our Republicans across the country are going to have to figure out a way to get a good, positive message out there, because they can't depend on people understanding that these people are crazy.
Correct.
They've got to keep pointing out, they want to close prisons, they want to close jails, they don't want any police, they don't want any military, and just so many things. No border.
Yeah.
And the Fox guy was really good, but I can't remember his name. He was saying, the chaos on the border wasn't caused by President Trump. The chaos on the border was caused by Biden.
Exactly.
Yet the people saying that Trump's causing the chaos because he's trying to clean it up. And
there just isn't
any chaos is due to Biden because Trump's trying to clean it up.
Isn't
trying to follow the law.
Yeah.
There isn't any chaos on the border anymore. Illegal crossings are down to nothing, and that happened because of President Trump.
I know, but they're talking about, like, ICE. Oh, and you guys mentioned about the Democrats and ICE. Seth Moulton's a Democrat out there. He's telling all the Border Patrol, all the ICE, everybody involved with immigration, he's going to prosecute them.
Oh,
so he's
good.
telling them straight out, I'm going to be prosecuting you guys.
That's what he's saying.
They'll find their immune.
That's that thug mentality. It's really bad.
It is.
And
yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you guys
Thank you,
go.
ma'am.
You have an awesome day, and thank you very much.
Be good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I got this note that a SpaceX rocket just crashed into the moon.
Yes. It's not exactly correct.
Okay.
It's the booster from one of the SpaceX launches that went into orbit and went toward the moon, and it crashed. It was everybody knew this was going to happen for days and days and days.
Yeah, they've talked about it, but it
Right.
finally happened.
And it crashed into the moon. And if you had a good telescope, you could watch, since they knew pretty closely just where it was going to hit. And I don't know if they could see the impact. Some people thought you would be able to.
Naked eye, they say not.
No, but with a good telescope.
It crashed at 5,400 miles per hour, which is a good clip.
That's
It's going
that's
moving. It's moving
That's
along.
moving. That's hypersonic.
Created a 100-foot wide crater.
Yeah, it's a small crater on it.
Not big enough to see naked eye, but I'm sure they can see it. So I read that you're just what you said, that it was a part of the aircraft that broke away, and they knew it was going to happen, but it wasn't scheduled to happen. I wouldn't think.
Oh yeah, this is all known a long time ago.
But I mean, they put it up there knowing it was going to crash into the moon.
Sure. Yep.
That's legal.
Oh yeah.
Well, what about the litter?
It's a small crater.
I don't know.
I mean, when they did the launch,
Yeah.
they knew that this booster stage was going to exceed escape velocity.
Right.
They knew ahead. They knew the orbital mechanics well enough to know it was going to crash
It's
into
a
the
heck of a
moon.
slide rule. Yeah.
Well, we got this
I know,
fantastic
too.
computer power, and they could make the prediction of just where it was going to hit as you went along. As it got closer and closer to happening, they could narrow where it was going to hit finer and finer detail until just 24 hours before, they knew within probably a couple hundred meters where it was going to hit.
And was there a rational reason on why we wanted that to happen?
Well, because in order to get the mission for what the payload was being put to, they
Okay.
needed the booster to up it to that certain velocity and that trajectory
Oh.
to get the mission where they wanted it.
Oh, so there was no. I mean, at times I know they've crashed things in the moon for testing.
This was a booster.
yeah.
It wasn't the mission.
Okay.
It wasn't the payload. It just, in order to get the payload where they wanted, they had to put this booster. And this booster does, I don't know if it says in there, but I think it had been used, like 20 times already.
Doesn't say.
It was one of the reusable
It just-
Falcon 9 boosters, I think.
It's the size of a school bus
Oh, yeah, they're
traveling at
big.
5,400.
Right. But remember,
miles per hour.
all the fuel is gone from it. It's
Yeah.
just like a big empty. And I'm thinking on the Falcon, they're aluminum tanks, but I'm not 100% sure. Pretty
Still
sure.
a lot of weight.
I don't believe that this wasn't the Starship tanks or the heavy.
It's interesting. I just was curious. Like no one thought anything about it except, it's just a point of interest. It's up there. It's crashed.
Well, what's particularly interesting to me is we had the Starship number 13 mission
yeah.
that showed tremendous advancement in the Starship design. They've been advancing the heat shields. The engines are getting better and better and more reliable all the time. And I watched it. It wasn't quite live because they record all this stuff and they make it all available to the public, which is just unbelievable. So this gigantic spaceship, it's the biggest one ever made, on top of a booster that's even bigger. They're bigger than Saturn V, with all these new technology engines that are better and more reliable than anything we've ever made before, and cheaper, way cheaper too, launches the Starship not quite into orbit, suborbital, goes 3/4 the way around the world, and comes down in the Indian Ocean precisely where they expected it to be, so close to precise that they say we could have caught it at a launch site if we had it come back down there. And then, because it was so precise and it was so virtually stopped right at the surface of the ocean when the engines cut off, it sort of slowly fell onto its side, and it's still floating in the Indian Ocean, and now they're towing it to Australia. It's the first Starship from a suborbital flight that they actually have recovered instead of just sinking in the ocean when it hit. It is an incredible achievement. And
Now, there has been talk that they're going to use that type of thing to rapidly get stuff somewhere on the planet, just like they did.
right, that's a little further on.
But it sounds like that technology right now
It
is
is
pretty
advancing
pretty advanced.
enormously fast. I mean, the team that Musk has put together in SpaceX is just unbelievable.
How
in
much
what
time
they're
was it
accomplishing.
from liftoff to the other side of the world?
I think it was about 90 minutes.
So 90 minutes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Hour and a half.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. And you could,
An airplane.
theoretically, you could send a Starship from any place you have a launch facility to any other place you have a launch facility on the Earth in about 90 minutes.
Anywhere.
Yeah, on the Earth. But you got to have a facility to catch it. At least right now, it's not set up that you could just have a flat piece of concrete and land it on it.
Right.
You have this catch facility that has what do they call them? These big arms that grab
chopsticks.
Chopsticks. That's what you need right now. Eventually, they may get some sort of leg system so that they could land it on.
They have some leg systems developed for the moon, but of course,
it's in process. I don't think it's happened.
It's they've designed it or whatever, but it weighs a lot less on the moon.
Well, it does, and remember the Starship, when it gets to the moon, it has exhausted most of the fuel. So a huge amount of the weight of the Starship has been reduced by the time it gets to the moon. So the technical challenges are different. They're just a lot different there. But I think that's going to happen. But that's just a small part of the story. I mean, the reduction in cost as Starship becomes mass produced, and they're talking about producing 1,000 a year. I mean,
I know that's crazy.
Well,
but you've seen where they're building them. It's mostly automated now. The welders and everything is automated.
Well, they're using
robots.
the best technology they can. Although I'm reminded that one of the welders that who is a Mexican national, that they early on came into the program, is now a multimillionaire because he took their stock options.
Pay me in stock.
Well, they had that option.
Yeah.
Are you willing to take a certain amount in stock options? And he's very cleverly and correctly said, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. And it creates a level of competence in your workforce, too, because everybody is bought into making things work.
Make it work.
And so when they did the public, going public with SpaceX stock, he became a multimillionaire.
That's great. When they first started, they went out and found welders that work on, water tanks,
Sure.
because they're used to welding those big sheets, and that's basically what it was. So the first Starships, when they came out, were ugly, wrinkly, imperfect.
And they just got better and better and better.
Now they look like one piece. Looks like it was molded.
Now, I remember something about how they had developed a special technique for that kind of thin, relatively thin, stainless steel.
Yeah.
To meld it so that there was almost no difference in the width, the thickness of that steel.
The techniques
all around
kept changing.
They kept getting better and better, iterating.
In fact,
a little better.
They changed the steel even a little bit.
They probably have their own production of steel now
to what worked best. And I don't know exactly how they're welding now, but the welding techniques kept changing,
getting better.
So now you look at the refined Starship. It's so much different than when they first were coming out with the weld.
Well, the basic shapes are pretty much the same.
Shapes are the same.
The
but I'm just talking
size
about,
are pretty much the same.
No, I'm talking about the seams. You could see the seams.
Absolutely,
on the
absolutely correct. And of course, that reduces the drag a little bit too.
Well, plus it's prettier.
Yes, it is. And so you have this Starship now that virtually lands on the surface of the Pacific, the Indian Ocean. Well, it's just off Australia, so I guess that's Pacific. And by just off, I'm saying like 600 miles.
Yeah.
And it lands so softly that it's
recover
still floating.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a lot of them blow up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened to every previous one.
Well, and they all think like, well, okay, that's great. It was a great trip. We learned a lot.
Exactly correct.
They never expected to recover a lot of those.
This one they did not expect to recover.
Okay.
I mean, they had to put into place, what do we do now? It's floating on the surface. We could learn a lot of stuff if we get our hands on it.
They didn't have the grappling hooks out there ready to take it in.
No, they didn't. They didn't expect it.
I didn't know that.
And so now there's at least there's 3 different big industrial ships that are moving into the area. And actually, they've already, believe they have it under tow, and they're trying to figure out, well, if we get this to the Australian port, then what do we do with it?
Now, see, if we were out there at that time, could we have grabbed it and claimed it?
No, that's not the way. That's not the way salvage laws work.
What? I wanted to claim it.
But
I got to it
I
first.
mean, it's a historic artifact. I mean, I don't know if it'll end up in some museum somewhere, but it'd be tremendously expensive and a heck of a challenge to transport it from Australia to
Anywhere.
in the U.S. Australia's a long way from people. I don't think there's anybody that's in New Guinea that
But
would
if
get
they
it.
could load it on a barge, it'd be
You can't take a barge across the Pacific Ocean.
no.
No. You need a better ship than that to cross the Pacific. Now, you take one of those really big container ships,
Yeah.
probably fit on there. Maybe it wouldn't even be a full load for them, but that's a lot of money to run one of those across.
Oh, I would imagine.
So it may end up as a display.
But I found
in
out that
Australia.
museums have a lot of money.
Some do. It looks like the Smithsonian has a
They have a
lot.
ton of money at the Smithsonian. They're too busy with social justice. They probably don't want it.
But the main value of this recovered, and I think it will be. I mean, it's still floating in the ocean right now. I don't know if it's under tow or not.
yeah.
That was supposed to have happened like a day ago, and they would have probably at least 4 or 5 days to get it to a port, maybe a week under tow, because the ocean-going ships, they don't travel at the speed of aircraft,
No.
and so that
And I take it hasn't produced any leaks or something. It's not taking on water.
It doesn't appear to be.
Wow.
It looks to be the pictures I saw the last pictures I saw looked like it was like 24 hours after it had landed. It didn't appear any lower in the water than it had when it first got there. But you think of it, it's an airtight design.
Yeah.
meant for-
But I would think it might have done some damage in
right,
the water or something.
and that's what happened on previous ones. And these engines are incredible technological marvels. Nobody's ever made anything like them.
And they're going to
before.
get them back. But who knows if they'll use them again? Some of them are
I
reusable.
doubt if ones that have been immersed in salt water will be refurbished
Yeah,
to
makes
use
sense. That
again.
makes sense.
And they're making these. They designed these engines to be mass production
Right.
products,
Right.
and they're producing them over. They've already, I believe, produced more engines than the reusable engines that were used on the space shuttle, which there have been a couple hundred of those produced. But these engines, I think, have already surpassed that, and they're going to be ubiquitous because they're incredibly efficient and reusable. It's just this amazing technology.
And this is not the same engine as the Falcon 9. That's a smaller.
It's a different engine.
Different engine.
The Falcon 9
and that's also
uses a little bit
SpaceX.
different technology, and this engine has made technological breakthroughs that many thought couldn't be done. And it's gotten better and simpler and more reliable.
But the
It's just
Falcon
unreal.
9's a workhorse.
It is.
And
it is.
And he does 60, 70 launches a year.
Oh, yeah. And we have boosters. Now, it's the booster that is recovered on the Falcon 9. I don't think the second stage is recovered. And the boosters on those, they have some of those boosters that have been reused over 30 times.
Yeah.
And that's what reduces
So
the
he
cost.
produces them cheaper, plus reuses them.
Yes.
It's just not fair competition.
No, it's not. when you can deliver the same product much more reliably at 1/10 the cost of your competition, it's not. Would you call that fair? No, but it's everybody else is rushing to try to catch up.
Yes, the guys are already in the industry. I mean, there's a lot of them, but some of them seem to have stalled or gotten out.
It's a very difficult to do. Musk has done this, and he's been like years and years ahead of them. They were planning on building reusable rockets when everybody said can't do it.
Yeah,
and he did it.
Well, I understand now China is trying to duplicate.
They
it
are,
stuff.
and they've had some successes.
Yeah.
And there are other competitors that have had some successes, but I'd say they're probably about 8 to 10 years behind
But
us.
I wonder how many people on the Chinese payroll were from the X payroll.
Good question.
I would
Good
I
question.
would think that they'd want to. That would be a
I
very
know-
lucrative job if you could.
I know there have been a lot of people engineers who were part of X or Tesla that are creating their own companies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there have been. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Russ.
Good.
Dean.
Hey,
Morning.
good morning.
Hey, I just did some research on what we'll do if daylight savings time goes away,
Oh, great.
we will stay the same. We won't do anything.
Man, I like being lazy. That's great. That's good
Hey.
news.
You, I love our time, but it's what it says. Everybody else will change to the standard time. Daylight savings time will be away. So
we'll
California will stay.
We'll say Mountain Standard Time. We'll be the same as Colorado. California will be an hour difference.
No, they'll be Pacific time. They'll go back to standard time.
I think it depends on the legislation. So I don't know what bill is mostly ahead. I heard there was one that was close to being passed.
Well, all I know is what research said, because I looked it
well,
up
you're
on.
probably way ahead of me because I haven't looked at it for a day or two.
Well, good. We'll stay with California forever, and we'll always be 3 hours off the East Coast. I'd like that
Well,
consistency.
no, we won't be anything like California.
No.
Their time will be what their time is. Ours will stay Mountain Standard Time, and
we're gonna
whatever
say
they.
Mountain. Okay, we'll say Mountain. Then.
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah, and as far as if they put a wall between us and California, it would tickle me to death.
Yeah, well, they already have checkpoints.
A lot of us. We should have checkpoints for California. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for the call.
All right, dude. You guys have a good day.
All right.
Bye now.
So I'd like to stay as well.
Things in legislation change rapidly, so
we
will have to see what happens.
And a lot of times what we get from them is just stuff that's partisan and doesn't make sense to anybody, but I don't want Trump to get a win or all that kind of stuff. That's kind of stupid stuff.
But the last I had read is that the legislation has legs and there's a good chance it'll get through.
12 states are now having cyber attacks on their water systems.
Interesting. Yeah, we heard about that a little earlier.
And I looked through this, and Edward sent me this, but this one has Michigan in it. That's one of them. It's had multiple, but it hasn't caused any disruptions as of yet. The government's asking all these water places just get off the internet, unplug. Right? Yeah. Just until we figure something out.
But that's not always. It's sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah.
I mean, because your local administrators may have automated controls in their water system that they just said, well, it's easiest just to go through the internet.
Well, in the meantime, you just get a guy to stand out there and do it for you manually, because right now it's.
Well, there's ways you can route communications differently.
Okay, but what they're doing right now, I guess, I doubt that was a high secure thing. So maybe it was an easy hack. But what are you going to do with it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay, we hacked it. We're going to hold their water system ransom. No, I'm just going to walk in and turn the valve,
Well, I mean, there were things that I could think that you could do, like if you had control over the amount of chlorine that goes into a system, for example. Maybe you could put massive amounts of chlorine that cause problems.
Yeah, that would cause a long-term problem.
No, but it could cause a disruption.
Yeah, but there hasn't.
I mean, I don't think there's a valve you can turn to say on create dangerous water.
Yeah, a backup that's going to cause it to explode or something.
That wouldn't happen. But you could, there might be a valve you could open to discharge, at a much higher rate.
Or we're finding some kid in high school just having fun.
I
hope not.
I hope that's it. I mean, I would prefer that to finding out it's Chinese hackers.
Yeah.
Or Iranian hackers or whatever.
Well, they've got the FBI involved and state police and all that other stuff. I mean, I'm sure their cyber people are on it and they're trying to track it back. But
yeah, and
that stuff usually leaves a footprint.
Usually does, yeah.
So why they're doing that now? Wasn't that long ago they were doing all the hospitals. They would get into the hospitals, lock everybody out of the system. They did it here in Yuma.
Yeah.
And then for ransom.
Yeah, right.
You send me the money and I'll send you a code.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, and everybody held out. Nobody paid the ransom. But
I know that there have been systems that paid ransom.
You do? Okay. Well, that's a surefire way to make sure that practice continues.
Yeah, right. But in a way, this is good, Russ, because it's kind of like getting a vaccination. You get a little bit of the disease and you prevent deadly disease further on.
Yeah.
So the more our systems become, how to put this, better defenses and find techniques to battle this, the less likely it is that we're going to have a systematic, super wide problem in the future.
You're right. And this could open up some eyes that,
Yeah, right.
that this is a system we've kind of maybe not put as much attention on.
Right. Correct.
Remember when we were talking about Elon Musk crashing onto the moon? You know.
Oh yeah, right. That's
and I said, wasn't that pollution? And you looked at me like I was crazy.
It's true.
Well, apparently, a DSA co-chair, that's the Democrat Socialist America, wants to investigate Elon Musk for polluting the moon's environment now that SpaceX rocket booster has crashed. I was just saying as a joke.
Yeah, I figured you were. But there are people who have, claim we should not go to the moon because we're disturbing the pristine environment of the moon. But there's no living things on the moon.
I don't doubt people say that.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it because they're not rational.
They're again whatever we're doing.
They want
whatever happens. They're again it.
Well, but even when they look at the forest, like these environmentalist wackos and stuff, that say, well, we should never disturb anything in the woods. If it falls, let it fall. And let it rot. Let it rot. Well, then we get these fires that are out of control because we followed the advice of the wackos.
Well, and they're going on false assumptions is the thing, because what we find out when you look at the archaeological evidence is that almost all of North America was created by the way that the people who came here burned things in order to make a better environment for what they wanted.
Yeah.
So it was all disturbed. It's all been disturbed forever. And before the people came here, there were glaciers across the northern half. There weren't any forests.
But that was not man doing it, so it's okay.
That's just crazy.
I know. But I talked to a fireman once years ago that was talking about the mistakes everyone's making by letting shrubbery fall, not do anything, and not clearing. He says, look, we've been clearing the forest, either burning it off, and stuff. And if you burn it off when it's a small amount of fuel,
you don't have catastrophic.
It doesn't hurt anything really.
Always you get something.
But when you get a crown fire, you even kill the microbes in the dirt. And it doesn't grow back.
It takes a while,
but it's kind of healthy for the forest to have a light burn.
A lot of plants.
It's healthy for the
have
trees.
Developed systems. There's a tree that's common in northern Wisconsin called the jack pine, and those pine cones will not pop out seeds until they've been burned over.
Okay. Well, and this guy says, look, we've been taking care of the forest for like 2,000 years, by burning it and everything. And I thought, well, wait a minute, we're only at 200 years.
It's longer than that.
But he says, well, before that.
Yeah,
before when it was tribes, they would let this stuff burn.
Exactly, and they would create fires,
and nobody put it out. Now we put out the small fires, put them out, until the fuel builds up so much that we can't put it out.
It becomes very difficult, and the environment was radically changed by that.
Was it?
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of those fires are natural, lightning strikes and such.
Right, but the advantage to the early indigenous people was that you light like a prairie on fire and you kill off the saplings of young trees that are out there. So you keep it a prairie instead of becoming forest.
Yeah.
Then you can see better and you can hunt easier on a prairie. You burn off the undergrowth in a regular forest, and you can hunt and ease and move through it a lot better than you can if it's just a virgin forest with all kinds of downfalls. Anybody who's actually, like I've spent some time up in the boundary waters areas between Minnesota and Canada. And, for, what is it, about 60, 70 years, they're trying to turn it back into a wilderness. I mean, there was mining up there and logging and resorts and everything before they said, no, we don't want any people up here. And no motorized vehicles, except for official ones, of course. And all of that. And what happens when you have that is a lot of the forest becomes impenetrable. You can't walk through it. There's so much tangle to it.
And it's not usable.
Exactly.
By the animals, even. Some animals.
Right. I mean, you have a different set of animals.
Yeah.
And frankly, if it gets burned over so ever so often, you get animals that we prefer to have there. You know, you get more deer.
But thinning the forest, especially with the equipment now, thinning the forest makes it a much better for most species, most.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
and it takes down the fire risk.
It's better for what we want.
Right.
I mean, if you have a virgin white pine forest, which the area I grew up in, you have red squirrels and porcupines, and maybe there's an occasional deer along the rivers or something. But there isn't much to eat for most animals in a forest that has grown up to where it's at essentially untouched for decades. And the trees get big, and there's not much that eats those trees.
Yeah.
They're just big, and they take up all the biomass.
But if you've seen some of the equipment that goes in and thins, I mean, they map it out to where they just pick out certain trees.
You can do it that way, and it's a good way to do it. Some places they clear cut.
And it's kind of like
there's a variety of
kind of like
techniques.
GPS driven. I mean, where you want to keep a forest, but
I mean, I did logging when I was a kid, and we used chainsaws.
No, they don't do that.
And some people still, we're even using horses. Back then, I helped my father, and we used a horse to do a little bit of logging. It was some like the very last stuff. People do it today as it's kind of a special purpose thing, but now they have machines. They're big tracked machines. They go in, the pinchers close around a tree, they pinch it off at the base, and then they feed it right through the tree and cut it to the lengths you want. I mean, it's all mechanized
in just seconds. I mean, it just doesn't take
very fast. I mean, and I recall hopping from one log to another as I'm peeling popple bark off because they get a better price. None of that happens anymore. We call ourselves pulp savages.
But they can go through and keep the forest intact and just thin it out so it's actually healthy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But we don't do that enough.
It's all done by contractual requirements. Up in northern Wisconsin, anyway, most of the forest up there is what we call county forest land. And it was a program that was put into place during the Depression when so many people just stopped paying their taxes because they couldn't.
Right.
And so a lot of what had been farmland just got obtained by the counties because nobody was paying the taxes. So they made it into what they called a forest crop program, where if you had private land, you could let it grow up into trees and you wouldn't pay as much taxes.
Oh.
And so then the idea is you would grow it for trees, and then you'd harvest the trees. And that's what's happened. And it's fine, but the land up where that northern part of Wisconsin just isn't very good farmland. I mean, maybe you could run a dairy farm, but most of it, except for particular pockets where you got the very right type of soil, you could get some that's marginal farmland. But the growing seasons are short.
Yeah.
And unless you have the right type of soil, it's hard to make a living on a farm up there because our farming has gotten so good everywhere else. Can't compete.
Yeah, it has. It is good in a lot of places. Like Yuma is just.
It's just we're one of the most productive farming areas in the whole world.
Yeah,
just unbelievable how good we are here.
I want to talk about Iran for just a minute.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has got a new strategy. That if you don't do what we want, we're going to hit you really hard. Okay, that's an old strategy. He's still doing it though. I've heard it enough to where I'm like, okay. Yeah.
I heard that they were asking service members for advice.
And?
Look, guys, what do you think is a good way to hurt these people? And so that's actually a good technique. Asking people who are in the middle of stuff, what do you think would work? And so that's one of the techniques they're using.
And Trump talks a story about, we're very close to finding it up. They want it and all that. And the Iranians come out and say, we're not even talking to the U.S. What is he talking about? We're not doing that.
Well, and a lot of that is, I think the regime is fractured.
It probably, but
they're not a unit.
I would like to think that there's enough pain in Iran right now that they want to stop it and realize that it's foolhardy, but they're still holding out. It looks like, because they think politically, Trump will get destroyed. The Democrats, socialists will win, and they'll become a great.
I think they're fanatical. A lot of the Iranian, IRGC are fanatics. They're Muslim fanatics. Well, it maybe means the same thing, but if you look at the history of Japan in World War II, there was a pretty significant cadre of Japanese officers after the atomic bombs were dropped that were willing to fight against the emperor and say, no, we can never surrender.
True.
And I think that's sort of the situation in Iran. There's a significant chunk of the people who have power, especially in the IRGC, that are willing to say, well, we don't care. If you kill us, we just go to paradise, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, and their definition of winning is just survive, which is a low bar.
It's a low bar.
They don't care if half their nation's killed as long as they survive.
Right. And a lot of them don't even care if they survive.
Yeah, that's true too. So that's a tough one to fight.
I think there are. I think we can win this, and I think we probably will. But the
Time
what
frame's
they are
important.
trying to do, in my opinion, is they're trying to make conditions bad enough that the population can rise up against the existing regime, but not so bad that they turn the population against the U.S.
That's the impression I get. And I think
That's a fine line.
and they're working with the neighbors because they want the neighbors in on it.
That's an important part.
But so far,
Like one thing I think could happen, I've seen some evidence, but not a lot, is the Balkanization of Iran. It could break apart into several different countries.
yeah, potentially.
Yeah,
It could.
there are
It's
ethnic
2.5 times the size of Texas. It's not.
there are ethnic minorities on different sides of Iran that have expressed the Kurds are the most famous that want to create their own country out of pieces of Iran.
Well, and I was listening this morning to the Trump administration that thinks it could be as early today that they give up. You know, I mean, they're thinking it's very close because of the finances and the bombing and all that kind of stuff. But
Well,
but I don't know that I buy it because I don't believe the Iranians. I don't believe.
yeah, I'm not sure there's anybody in Iran who can actually make a deal
And Trump again
because
says,
it's fractured.
but Trump has been spooling up the aggressiveness when he goes back into the
Right.
bombing.
And I think that is a necessary part of
And it's-
everything. I like one of the things that I sort of thought could happen is we have drones, we have aircraft, we have air supremacy all over it, is that if the Iranian regime starts shooting protesters, we kill the people that are doing the shooting.
Yeah. I'm wondering how he's going to spool it up more now. He says he's going to take out every single power plant, which I'm sure we could do.
We can,
But then that might bring the point where the people are mad at us.
I agree, and then you take out these plants. There's several different ways you can do it. You can take out the substations that distribute the power near the plant without destroying the actual plant.
Which is a temporary destruction.
Well, but that means you can get it back into service
sooner.
Yeah. So and that's both good and bad from different directions. So I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but I think you are correct. He's relying a lot on the neighboring countries, and frankly, they're not necessarily part of the negotiations.
And I and I've applauded him for been able to keep those neighbors close and allies. You know, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all that. But then I heard something the other day that Saudi, limited our use of runways and stuff too during this program.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So they weren't, as bad as Europe, but they were not.
It's how do you deal with people that come at things from a different vision of reality?
And see, but we need to pay attention to that social structure and the different sets of reality. We can't use our reality to figure out what they're thinking. We got to use their reality.
I think we can enforce that the Straits of Hormuz remain open.
Yeah.
And that's really the critical thing.
But we just need to understand their culture, their nature on how to get that done. And not use us. Because what we did in Venezuela worked much different than what we're doing in
Exactly
Iran.
correct. But Venezuela, as a communist country, essentially, at least comes from a sort of Western rational tradition.
Okay.
And if under communism, if you die, you die. There's no afterlife.
Oh.
Well, under Muslim tradition in Iran, if you die, you go straight to paradise if you're a martyr.
Uh-huh.
That's a huge difference in mindset.
It is, and it's so blatantly because
And I'm not saying one is better than the other,
No,
actually.
but Venezuela happened just weeks before Iran's, and
Right.
and the difference are so huge.
It is enormous.
That we showed power to Venezuela and said, okay, we'll do it your way.
Right. And so we will see. I support President Trump. I think the Iranian war and is long overdue because, frankly, they've been at war with us for 47 years.
Yes, they wake up every morning and say death to America. And of course, there's a lot of people in the Democrat Socialists of America that support Iran.
Exactly. Oh, you want the same thing we want.
Yeah, death to America.
Right.
And they've been.
I think it's foolish on their part because in Iran, they originally had the, I think it was called the Tudeh Party. I probably mispronounced it. That was made up of leftists in Iran. And my understanding is that after the Iranian Revolution of 79, in which the leftists cooperated with the Muslims, with the Ayatollahs, basically the Ayatollahs then rounded up the leftists and killed them.
Yeah. In Japan, one of the, the bombing that we did on Tokyo and everything took hundreds of thousands of lives, I guess, the fire bombing. And then when we did the nuclear bomb, it was much more impactful, even though it took less lives. It was scarier.
Yeah.
And it changed. I mean, those two bombs was like a breaking.
Yeah,
point.
Huge. Correct.
What breaking point is in Iran? We don't, of course, nuclear bombs are off.
That's a good question. It's a great question.
I think the nuclear bombs are off the table. You don't even think about
I
those.
hope so, because I don't think we want to break what's become a taboo.
But we do have things that would be more impactful, like the Moab, the mother of all bombs, that would actually clear a path of like 1 square mile or something.
Well, how about something a little different where we have relatively small drones that take out people that are acting against our wishes and don't destroy the infrastructure?
I don't know. What would make the difference? What would be
How
the scariest?
How about dropping, lots of individual weapons into, just rifles and RPGs and things like that and explosives with directions on how to use it?
I'm sure all those conversations are going on.
I would think so.
Of course, it's going to matter on the culture of the people and how the people are. If you dropped a bunch of weapons up in Minnesota, you're going to have quite an impact because those guys all know how to use them. They're hunters.
Yeah, I think.
But over there, I don't know.
It's a real question, and several people I read have said that President Trump has not attacked the Iranian army, which is a separate entity from the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, or something like that, which is the IRGC is hardcore fanatics, and the army is not as much. So the thought was that he's doing that so that the army could take over the government and present a more rational government.
I've heard.
Don't know if that's going to happen or not. It's just speculation.
This last bombing, they took out the IRCG headquarters. I guess it was a very tall building in Tehran, and I saw it on fire.
Well, and that sends a message to all the people too.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, that's the IRGC headquarters. It's gone."
Yeah, they can obliterate.
And it makes it harder and harder for. And of course, what happens is just what we've been talking about. The splintering, the fracturing of the Iranian government. I mean, it gets harder and harder for them to exert control.
Well,
but if you don't have a centralized government, who do you negotiate with?
But Donald said yesterday, Donald Trump, our president, the hard hit is yet to come, and hopefully we won't have to use it. But he's been saying that a while. He said, we were going to a tremendous attack, the biggest since World War II. And they called me and said very politely, please, can we talk? Can we talk? And I said, yes, we can talk. Let's get it done. And that's why he paused it. And
yeah, but who is he talking to?
It doesn't say, he said they.
Exactly. I mean, and if they can't control the broken factions of the IRGC, well.
And the IRGC says, we're not talking to anybody. We're not talking to Trump.
Exactly.
Trump,
and I'm not saying that's bad. It might be a good sign that shows we're having tremendous effect.
But there's so many people on the left that immediately says, well, Trump's obviously lying because these guys wouldn't lie.
Yeah, exactly. We like them. Yeah. We don't like Trump.
Yeah, we don't like Trump. Trump said that they don't like to admit that, they called. But, well, it's a little bit disconcerting. It's just such a lie. But it doesn't matter. That's talk. The only thing that matters is action. And they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. If they don't make a deal, it's going to be too bad. And this cycle has been going on for months.
Yeah, it has.
And people
And
in this country
there's
are
been
getting tired of it.
positive effects too. The strait's been open for a while, and then the price of gas went down. And
It's
then
still
back
partially
up.
open, and oil's still
Partially down.
$83
Right, exactly.
a
So
barrel instead of 120.
I believe, and you can check me on this. The production of Venezuela continues to go up. The production of American oil continues to go up, and oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz is becoming less and less important.
Yeah, and it's only like a third of what they were doing. The ship's getting through, of their peak. They're capable of much more, but
Right. Well, what I'm saying is we have an international world market in oil, and the more you produce one place, like Venezuela, well, then it reduces what you need from someplace else,
yeah.
like the Strait of Hormuz.
And Venezuela is not spooling up as fast as people would like because a lot of the companies are still hesitant.
Well, yeah,
They
you just
don't-
have somebody who stole everything you had there, and you're saying, well, now go work for them again.
Yeah, where's the stability before I send billions of dollars in there? Is there stability?
Yeah.
But I like the idea of doing more in Alaska and stuff like that, and they're finding more reserves. And the stuff they just started tapping down in Maine and offshore, that shelf out there that they found a way now that they can mine that and get that oil out.
And there's been a moratorium on offshore drilling off California
But
for decades.
That's not going to happen in time for the election.
Right.
Now, if you're President Trump, and he's got to make this decision, but he wants to do what's right for the election and what's right for the world and what's right for everybody. He does.
Yes.
And he wants to do it before the election. Iranians know that timeline is there, and they want to destroy his election and chances.
Yes,
They might have a better chance
That's
with
exactly right.
with the socialists of America.
And this is the midterm elections, which is for the Republican candidates.
which
It's
could
not
which
directed
could
at
handicap Trump greatly if we lose it.
Right.
lose a
But
majority
it
of that.
could, but what I'm saying is it's not an election of President Trump.
But if it comes down to making a decision, do I make a bad decision on Iran just to get it over with so I can get the elections more favorable? Or do I say, let's do what's right for the situation and let the chips fall?
Well, from my observations of President Trump, he'll make the hard choice and go for what's best for the country.
I think you're right. I
And
hope
I'm
you're
not
right.
going, and because that has served him
But it's
well.
sad. Yeah, it has served him well.
And we don't know, there's all this talk about how if gas is over $4 a gallon, we lose the midterms. But I am not so sure that'll happen.
No, but it's a negative.
It's something to worry about.
Yeah.
But look at the candidates we're getting from the Democratic Party.
Well,
they're really bad.
And Edward just sent me a poll they did on Al Sayed versus Rogers, and that's a Michigan race in Senate. Al Sayed just got announced as the winner.
And Rogers was a Democratic candidate, right?
No, Rogers is winning. Al Sayed is the communist. He's a Democrat.
Well, it's a primary.
Yeah. Well, oh no, I'm talking about the general race.
Oh, okay.
I'm going.
That's why I was
I'm
asking.
assuming El Sayed already won.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, he's already announced winning. Now against the Republican shows a 3-point advantage. That's really close.
It is, and I think there's still a lot of people who would have voted Democratic who don't want to admit that they might vote for Republican because the Democratic candidate is really bad.
Let's see. And one showed a 50-50, and another one showed El Sayed 49 to 39 winning, which
That seems high, but
yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's weird when you get them that spread out.
well, part of what this shows is that polling is not an exact science, and it may be worse than it's been for a
A
while.
lot of times it's push polls. It's trying
Yeah,
to
exactly.
It's not trying to check public opinion. It's trying to just
Create-
design and
it's trying to
create.
create public
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of polling that does that, and you have to be very careful what you look at. And I like to read the questions and see what the percentages of people who were in various parties were polled.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one of the things you see is if you poll 50% of Democrats but only 36% of Republicans, it's kind of a biased poll.
Edward reads those very closely.
Sure.
And it's been he pointed out that there's polls now that just don't give the details. So he ignores those altogether.
Yeah.
Normally, but
it's
they're worthless. But
And most of my stuff, where I've looked at it, has not been so much political polls, but polls about opinion about firearms and stuff like that, because that's what I write about. It's my specialty. And there are a lot of people who just don't answer because they don't want their answer to be known to anybody else.
yep, you're going to find that with everything.
Well, I mean, but it makes a big difference. And what we see from the firearms perspective, I'll qualify that, is there's been so much demonization of firearms ownership that there's a fair amount of what we call silent firearms owners who are going to be very favorable toward firearms in the Second Amendment, but they don't want to talk because they don't want themselves to be, they don't want any public record of it.
Yeah, because of public pushback and craziness.
Yes, exactly correct.
In fact, speaking of that, I got to talk about the WNBA real quick.
Okay.
Speaking of craziness, a lady by the name of Michelle Tafoya. She is a women's basketball star from years past, and she was one of the first when the league first opened. She was a broadcaster.
Okay.
And she's coming out to talk about the current WNBA. She says she no longer recognizes the league she once helped broadcast. Politics has replaced the celebration of women's basketball. And she remembers from the league's early days, I'm losing faith in the league. I have talked about this when the league had its inaugural first 3-4 seasons. I was one of the 3 plays by play voices. I was Robin Roberts, Hannah Storm, and myself, and I worked with Reggie Miller and others, Blast and all that shit. People I don't know. But this league is somehow morphed into something that feels like activism on display.
Yeah,
which
I
it
think
is.
that's correct.
I completely. She pointed to the protests outside the Minnesota Lynx game. The pro-trans protesters were loud. They had bullhorns. They would press their little siren buttons and just blast us so we could never talk. It's just hard to believe that we are still conflating the idea of women having their own sport, but trans women somehow having access to that sport where they aren't biologically female. This is not an anti-choice transphobic movement at all. God bless Sophie Cunningham. And as you know, it is if not better than I do, she's got a spine, and she's a hero of mine. And Sophie is the one that came forward and says, hey, it shouldn't exist. I don't have anything against trans. They're welcome at my table, but I don't think biological boys should play in our league.
Right.
And she's gotten hate like crazy.
She has, but she's gotten a lot of support, too.
Oh, yeah, she does. She says, she asked whether she's willing to speak out might encourage other players to do so. Meaning Kofi, she spoke out. Now will others? And that's a great question because nobody wants to because you're going to get treated like Sophie's getting treated.
Right.
And she's been physically assaulted on the field. I mean, on the game, during the game.
Yeah.
She says, today's locker room culture makes that a difficult proposition. Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve, which is the coach, wearing a Kids Belong t-shirt on the bench. Trans kids belong. Trans kids belong. Saying in her view, a league more interested in pushing activism than promoting basketball.
Yeah.
Because you allow a coach to do that. I mean, you would think there's been rules within the league, but the league is supporting it. A women's league to support women is supporting guys being in it.
Yeah.
It says, I hope it opened the doors for others, but you know what? It's going to be a very narrow group. And the way the WNBA is responding with Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve wearing a t-shirt, trans kids belong, by the way, this has nothing to do with kids. And I'd love to leave kids out of this entirely altogether. I don't think she's not being punished.
Right.
The league is okay with that. But if you wear anything that says, I don't believe in that, it's off with your head.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this a little earlier.
Yeah.
That there's this systematic denial of reality. And if you don't agree with that denial of reality, the idea that anybody who says I'm a woman is a woman, no matter of their biology, well, you have to be shut down. You have to be destroyed because it's a challenge to their fundamental belief system that we can be anything we want, no matter what the biological and physical reality is.
Tafoya wraps up by saying, in her view, protecting women's sports is not about hate. It's about fairness, meritocracy, preserving categories women fought decades to establish. WNBA keeps creating distractions of its own making. The more the league leans into activism, the more the basketball gets lost in the noise.
Yes, clearly. I think she's
Everybody sees it, but them.
yeah, it's exactly correct. Because for a lot of them, the activism is the priority.
Yeah. It's more important than us.
It's more
Than the
important
team than basketball.
basketball.
Well, eventually their ratings show it and they lose money and they won't be around to do it. That's the way it is. We're out of time.
Very good.
I've
enjoyed it.
I'll be back tomorrow, man. Thank you for coming. Let me see. Russ Clark, we're at Mortgage One Studio. Not AM 560.
Yeah,
It's coming.
hopefully AM 560 within a month or two.
There you go.